will need long-term care. But do you need the insurance? It depends on your financial situation. If you're rich, you don't need insurance because you can afford the costs. If you're poor, Medicaid will pay for your care. But if you're in the middle class, the cost of care could push you and your spouse into poverty. Before you buy insurance, consider your complete finances, including your savings and investments. Get independent advice from someone who will give you the guidance you need and that's in your best interest.
That's Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines. If you're looking for a trusted partner, talk to one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Victory Ford is dedicated to one thing, serving you. Our staff are experts in providing you the knowledge needed to make the right decision on your next car or truck. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a 5-star service center with the highest rated technicians and amenities. Visit us at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Hey, Kansas City, winter is here, and without proper attic insulation, you'll be losing money every time your furnace turns on. Star Company's installation is here to help you save money. Adding insulation to your attic will make your home comfortable, allow your furnace to run less, and save you money every minute of the day. And Star Company's gives you a 10-year warranty that others won't. Call Star Company's today for a free quote and ask about all the ways they can help you save money this winter. 816-353-2160. Again, that number, 816-353-2160.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
Isn't this a sports show?
Clinton has said, accurately, I might add, on the Facebook page. Almost entirely sports, a show where Josh reads all of his tweets, and I have no counter-argument to that. That is true and fair.
Almost entirely.
Excuse me. I'm talent. I'm talent, sir. Unhand me.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I am Joshua Brisco. Rudy with the reverse slam. Beard with a judgmental gaze. What's up, Beard? How you doing? I'm here.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Is this the most important thing I could be talking about? Well, I mean, probably not. Debatable.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I know that this is a pretty controversial topic, something not a lot of people are talking about, something that, may be kind of narrow casting. But boy, howdy, it's cold outside. I, famously at this point, am not angry at it being a little chilly. Hoodie weather is my favorite weather. The first few days of spring, the last few days of fall, I think are probably ideal weather for me. I do not need to be sweating from, May through September. But it's chilly out there, guys. It's a little cold. I've got two things off the top of my head right now. At the top of the show right now. One thing that's very chiefy that we'll get into momentarily, and one thing that is just very near and dear to my heart that may result in this show needing to pay some sort of tithe to Surin Petro, just because I feel like this is probably something Surin has talked about publicly within the last couple of days, certainly over the last couple of years. But I'm here, both Rudy Salazar and Beards McFly. How good do you guys think you are on a scale of 1 to 10 at driving in snowy conditions?
10. Easy.
Really? You're just a god out there.
I've driven 4 hours in a blizzard before. The conditions that are out right now
You are basically ready to ghost ride the whip at this point.
Yeah, I've driven through multiple states, like through a blizzard, like
wow.
where you could see like about 2 feet in front of you, going like 10 miles per hour down a highway, because it's just, if you went any faster, you would probably die. 10 out of 10. I'm great in bad weather.
What about specifically whenever the road is a question mark? That's also not phasing you?
No.
You're just, okay.
I'm very comfortable.
Beards?
No, obviously it's other people around me.
We're going to come back to everybody else. I
am very comfortable in my own, I've never been nervous. I've never been worried. super comfortable in my ability, regardless of what vehicle I'm driving.
Beards?
I'd give myself an 8. I would give my car like a 5.
Ooh.
Because I drive a pickup truck.
Yeah.
That is also a rear-wheel drive, and let me tell you, those two things are a great combination. Even when I've got, 6 50-pound sandbags in the back.
It's
not great.
I need the shortest possible version of this story, but I don't think it's something I've ever asked you, and it's something that I've kind of wondered a little bit, just every once in a while, just sort of a fleeting thought. How did you end up with a pickup truck? Because I don't really see you like, hauling mulch or anything. You know what I mean?
I feel like it was just given to him, and beers and change.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that you like decided I want a pickup truck.
Kind of, a little bit.
Okay, explain in the shortest
It's
possible
a family
version
vehicle.
of this.
I'm betting it's a family vehicle.
I think
Somebody in
that's
his
about
family
right.
owned it before he
Not
did.
quite. My grandfather, I was really close with my grandfather, and he lived out in the country and had a bunch of pickup trucks, and I liked that, so I got a little one that they got me as a graduation present.
How long have you had that truck
Since
then?
2011.
Okay. How many times have you used this sort of truck bed, like in a way that you're like, man, I'm glad I have a truck?
Pretty decently, especially when I was going down to college in Arkansas to put everything back there.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially because I've got a lid on the back of it. That's great. And for hauling sandbags in the winter when it sucks out.
Right, which you love.
Love doing.
You love doing.
Yes.
This is not
all the sandbags. Give them to me.
A standard thing. Moving for like me in general is easy because my dad has horses, so we literally just take the horse trailer.
I thought you were going to say.
Stuff into a horse.
No,
no.
I thought you were going to say you have the horses. You just pull your furniture around.
I literally just take his horse trailer, and it's very easy to load stuff into.
That's great.
And drive around.
I don't think I ever had the beards with a pickup truck story because beards just you have the cowboy boots, which is always a real big curveball.
Him driving a car, though, and maybe it's just because I've only ever seen him drive a pickup truck. The idea of him driving a car is weird to me.
Yeah, like beards in a Prius doesn't really do it for you. Interesting.
But also beards in like a new vehicle also doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And that might just be the change thing, right? Like beards doesn't like change.
Yeah, I think if you're like beards, you put beards in a brand new car, what's it going to be? I think it's a 2021 Ford F whatever. It's a truck of some. He's just getting that big like.
I don't need a car that big.
See, it'd be
you
weird.
Like a smaller pickup.
Yeah, see, it'd be a little weird to me to see him in like a big old truck.
Yeah, also fair, I suppose.
But again, that might also just be because I've literally only ever seen beards in drive one vehicle before.
I think I'm like an 8, maybe 7.5 to an 8 driving in snow / cold or whatever. I've had a couple, especially in my older car that I used to have, which was basically a pill bottle on wheels.
It's a good way to describe that car.
It really is. It did not have the gravitational heft to keep itself from doing some unfortunate things. My current car, which hopefully will soon become my former car because that thing is sputtering along. It's doing its best, but its best is tough.
I bet it is. It does not like this cold.
But it does not. That is absolutely true. But it's heavier, I think, by a decent amount, and so I feel pretty good. But I'm going to just put out this PSA. And I don't know if this is actually good advice or not, but this is a room that's pretty confident.
It's probably not.
Well, I think I'm going to get you on this. This is a room that's pretty confident in our own ability to drive on, like, look, if it's super icy, I certainly don't want to be driving.
For sure.
But right now, it's the worst parts of the roads are where it's sort of packed snow, where it's not necessarily a sheet of ice under there, but there is enough snow that you don't get your usual traction, and sometimes you get some sliding around and everything. The highway right now was perfectly fine.
Yeah, same with mine. I saw one car that kind of went off, but they were also pulling a large trailer, so I imagine the trailer was what caused that issue.
That's even better.
Degree of difficulty going up. If you are driving and we're all just sort of humming along, we're not all doing 80, but we're all doing a nice 45 or 50. Don't brake for no reason.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only thing I wanted to say at the beginning of the show today. We're going to talk about, like, Nicole Hardman in a second.
There is a thing about driving too slow, like, you become a hazard.
You are the hazard
You are
now
the hazard.
But at the very least,
like in some states, there is a minimum speed requirement because because eventually, and now obviously, the worse the weather gets, like you should obviously.
Absolutely.
But there becomes, regardless of where the weather's at, there becomes a point where you are the hazard.
But if if you're sputtering along in the right lane and I'm trying to pass you, let me pass. It's fine. That's all fine. If you're doing 30 in the right lane because you're not comfortable, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But do not go from 50 to 30 when nothing has happened in front of you. This is not the worst thing that we can do in this weather, folks, is to change our velocity very quickly.
Yep.
Is velocity the one that also includes direction? I actually did. I did shockingly well in my college, like intro to physics class that I took as a science.
I'm trying to remember
science
that
course.
was in
Yeah, I don't know
high
if
school.
velocity includes direction.
One of them.
That's a good question.
I'm looking over to Twitch to see if anybody has anything to add to that answer. Because one of my great prides from college is that I did well in that class, but I also apparently don't remember any of it.
Somebody said vector is direction and magnitude.
Well, Google says speed is a scalar quantity, does not keep track of direction. Velocity is a vector quantity and is direction aware. So it knows about direction.
Velocity,
but it's not
speed of
texting it that often.
Velocity is a vector.
Velocity is the speed of something in a given direction.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep
Velocity, Ice Pyro, who I trust with my life at this point.
Yes.
Velocity is direction and magnitude.
Just don't zag on them for no reason, and don't decide that this is the time that you're gonna slam on any pedal, gas or brake. Let's just all keep doing the thing that we're doing, and we're all gonna get home to have a nice big bowl of chili or whatever whenever we get there.
Yep.
But please, for the love of all that is good, don't get out there and start doing the Cupid shuffle in your car on the snow-packed off-ramps. Off-ramps are different. You got to be decelerating by the off-ramps. That's different. I'm trying to get to the off-ramp. I just don't think it's that hard, but I am stunned constantly by how little I trust other drivers in all circumstances.
Yeah.
It is an unnecessarily hazardous experience that I feel like we should all kind of just be better at this point.
I think that's part of being a good driver, though, is it's being aware that everybody else around you sucks.
Great point.
Now, obviously, knowing that there are some drivers around you that are fine drivers, but you kind of have to assume that just everybody sucks because you don't know. The
You
reality
just
is
let them
do not
pleasantly
know.
surprise you.
Yeah. Like I think part of being a good driver is just assuming that though everybody around you is really bad at it.
Yeah.
And so they don't get out of your way, you're just going to run them off the road.
Well, I was with you for the grand majority of that take. And then I was doubling down, baby, because that's absolutely it.
Yep.
Get violent out there. Move.
Have a spare license, that way, a license plate, that way, you know, when they put in that license number, it's not you.
You can just put a really strong magnet on the back of, your fake license plate, smack it over your license.
Absolutely.
Then you can just yank it off, put it back on, whatever you need to do.
I've got one that's an exact replica of Beards' license plate number.
That makes a lot of sense. I
get away with a lot of stuff.
I got a copy of Beards' social card. Do you know that? You know that I have that, Beards?
I would hope not.
Can you put some more money in your bank account? Because I'm really tired of all of my transactions bouncing.
No, I can't do that.
It's been rough for a few days, Beards.
Listen, I just had to buy new headphones. They'll be here next week.
I'm rooting for you.
Hopefully.
Unless somebody driving in front of the Amazon car decides that they're going to try to give the driver behind them a little puzzle to solve it at 50 miles an hour.
Please don't. I
Please
need those.
don't.
I need those headphones. I don't want to keep borrowing Lebos.
I bet Lebo's a good driver.
Oh, absolutely.
I would trust Lebo.
I've ridden a car with
my
Lebo
life.
a couple times.
Yeah.
He takes that gas gauge down a little bit lower than I do personally. We were on our way back from Big 12 Media Days. Not this year, obviously. I think it was last year. I believe it was last year. Yeah. And anyways, like his car, it said 0 miles empty. He's like, oh, don't worry, I still got 35 miles. Because I've always wondered though, like when it says, because typically when they say when your thing says empty, you do have miles still to go that they're built in.
Now streaming on ESPN Plus.
But what I've never known is that the digital gauge, when it says 0, do you still have miles to go, or is that like, oh hey, you're about to run out? Because I've had my sister with it say like 2 miles to empty, run out of gas like 3 times.
Yeah, I'm not trying to find out.
And every time she complains about the car, there's something wrong with the car. It's like, no, you just didn't put gas in it. It happened like 3 times in like one summer.
I've had it happen before once where I have the one which is the little light comes on.
Yeah.
And the light came on, and I was like, okay. I think I was heading home from work one day, and I was like,
To
okay.
Lawrence
Yes.
at the time?
And I was like, okay, I needed to stop and get gas at some point. And then after a while, the light went away. And then I went, oh, I really need gas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably a bad sign.
That's how you know you need gas, when the light turns off.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Who do you think here, like just on air, like of the shows here on 810, who do you think's the worst driver? Who do you not want chauffeuring you around in the snow right now? Because here's the thing, I think we probably got more good drivers than bad drivers.
Yeah.
Out of just the three of us?
I think Shane's putting us in a ditch.
Oh.
So I was kind of thinking Shane too.
I was just thinking of the three of us.
I was thinking
we're
Shane
all fine.
too.
We're all
Yeah,
fine.
I was thinking Shane too. Pardon me, and this is not that he's a bad driver. I was thinking, I feel like Nate would take a longer time than it should take. Like, it's very safe, right? But he's going like 10 miles per hour slower than he probably should be. So you're just like, man, we should be there by now.
Interesting.
But I don't think it would be. But you're not swerving. You're never fearing for your life.
Yeah,
or
yeah. You're getting
anything.
from point A to point B.
Yeah, you're just getting there a little slower than you probably should be.
Conversely, if Seren invites you into the car,
Woo, boy.
You are either going to beat your GPS by
Yes.
75%
Yes.
of whatever your ETA is, or you're going to meet Jesus. Like,
But here's the thing, also, and maybe
Only
it's just because I've ridden in a car with him enough times.
Trust him,
I also never
absolutely.
feel at danger.
Absolutely.
It is fast. You're going
Totally
to
agree.
get to your destination as fast as a person can humanly get there.
It's
Pretty
not
sure it took
reckless.
us 3 hours to get to Minnesota. It was like an
It's
8-hour trip.
unbelievable.
But like never once did I think to myself, "Oh God, we're about to go." No, like I was able to take a nap in the car. I knew we were safe.
He's an astronaut.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, listen, that spaceship's going to be moving pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
It's in good hands.
Absolutely.
It's in good hands. That's Petro. Seren's going to get you point A to point B. He just needs jet fuel to do it. I don't think I would trust Corey either. Well, just while we're on the topic. I think Corey would make me a little nervous. Or it would just
Corey
be
does
grandma
kind of seem like the
speed.
type who might, though, like he's taking some risks out there. Corey seems like the guy who's like,
Really?
he's like no risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna it's like, I'm trying to get to my destination. You know, it's not that he's trying to be the fastest, but he's also trying to like, he's not trying to be the slowest. And every now and then just be like, this driving maneuver I'm about to make, maybe I shouldn't, but you know what? Let's go for it.
So then is it Jason then that's like making it, checks 4 or 5 times that we're buckled in? Where it's like, Jason, hey, I'm buckled, it's fine. I get it. It's okay. Everything's fine here. Maybe it's Jason. We'll ask Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest if he's a good driver in about 40 minutes from now. We'll do some power rankings. I don't know if you noticed. We got back-to-back holidays here. From Valentine's Day to President's Day, and we've got a lot going. So we're gonna have Tucker Franklin. We'll talk to him about a few Chiefs things, and then we'll do some power rankings to fit the mood of the last couple of days at 10. Let's take an early break here though this hour because I do want to talk about a story that ended up popping off a little bit, kind of throughout Chiefs Twitter and on a couple of national sites as well. It started with a story from Adam Teicher that I didn't think was going to make any enormous waves. Thought he just made some good points and had some good information. And then it kind of took off in a way that I was a little bit surprised about. So we'll talk about that. I'll explain what it was whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Prime Lending's mortgage professionals are ready to assist you with your next home loan or refinance of your current residence. Prime Lending has 10 convenient locations to serve you. Visit whyprimelendingkc.com. That's WHY, primelendingkc.com, or call 816-600-4561. Prime Lending, ranked #1 mortgage lender in the Kansas City metro area market for market track January 2019 through October 2020. All loans subject to credit approval. Rates and fees subject to change. Prime Lending, a Plains Capital Company, NMLS 13649, is an equal housing lender.
Wasn't doing anything different, wasn't trying to train for a marathon or compete in American Ninja Warrior. Was just playing racquetball with my buddies, and that's how the injury happened.
That led to Achilles surgery and years of chronic pain for Will Burt, a patient at QC Kinetics.
There's always been tenderness and inflammation, and I had the surgery to repair the tendon, but it didn't repair my quality of life.
Desperate for relief, Will tried the regenerative cell treatments at QC Kinetics, and finally the pain was gone.
The good news is it's a solution without having to go under the knife. A solution that my body can kind of regenerate and take care of itself versus surgery, pain pills, rehab, and all that goes along with that.
Patients like Will are raving over the results. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299.
Thanks to the guys at QC Kinetics, quality of life is just a lot better.
QC Kinetics off 435 and State Line. 816-412-6299.
Save big money on your home improvement projects now during Menards Race to Savings Sale. Stop in for the best selection of thermostats. Keep your home's temperature comfortable through every season while saving energy with a new Honeywell thermostat. Pick up the programmable thermostat that lets you have separate settings for weekdays and weekends. Right now, it's only $21.99. Save big money now during Menards Race to Savings Sale. Prices are good through February 20th.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
If you're between the ages of 18 and 39, here's an amazing deal for you. You can become a young professional member at Tiffany Green's Golf Club. Monthly rates starting as low as $150 a month with unlimited golf, unlimited cart usage, unlimited practice range, member discounts, and much more. So get your friends and coworkers and join in on this amazing plan and start growing your friendships while enjoying the game of golf. Whether you come out and play as much as you can after work or enjoy the day on the course on the weekend, take advantage of the Young Professionals plan at Tiffany Green's Golf Club. Go to TiffanyGreensGolf.com.
Why would I sell the car of my dreams for a food truck that wasn't? Or rattle off condiment combinations in my sleep?
Extra mayo, all the mustard, ketchup on the side.
I mean, when did an app become my favorite tool? Nothing personal, Spatula. It's because I wanted to make the best burger ever. And QuickBooks Suite of tools helped me get there.
Intuit QuickBooks helps small businesses be more successful. Learn more at QuickBooks.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure, we can help you knock that oil change right off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99, plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast, right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
We're in the pit of despair of the Chiefs.
I'm not. The pit of misery. Dilly. Sorry. I don't even like that commercial.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A little Easter egg for the close listening AES listeners, the avid fans and whatnot. I'll give you the sort of the heads up on the Easter egg here. Beards went back through a vault, essentially, of some old things he had clipped but never turned into, at least 8-10 liners for the show. And I think we're going to get a little smattering of those over, who knows how long.
This was from 2017.
But I mean, they're going to be a good handful of new ones for a while now, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm still going through stuff.
Excellent.
So I'm still working on 2017.
You can keep your ears peeled for that. Why don't we even say eyes peeled? That sounds really unpleasant. I didn't really expect either of you to know the answer to that, but I just something.
Sorry, I'm too busy looking at wide receivers.
So let's have that conversation. So here's where this kind of started today, and it was a weird little, just a weird couple of notifications to get this morning, where Rudy and Beards, I know you guys both saw sort of the clip of this.
Yeah, I got the ESPN notification.
There's an ESPN push alert that comes out that says something like, Nicole Hardman wants to be a bigger part of the Chiefs' offense, quote, I'm actually a good route runner, unquote. Something to that effect. So that story comes out. Adam Teicher, certainly a friend of Sports Radio 810, he has this piece. I have since read the thing, And I think it's a good piece that looks at Hardman's situation. I think he's going to be one of the most interesting offseason guys to have a conversation about around the Chiefs this entire next couple of months, because we're going to learn a lot more about how the Chiefs feel about his future. We already know how they feel about his present to some extent. But what I wanted to ask both of you guys, do you know where those quotes came from?
Nope.
I do not.
The first thing that I saw
from Nicole Hardman.
Yes. Nicole Hardman is directly quoted accurately, yes. The first time I saw this story was Pro Football Talk aggregating this story, and I clicked it, and it said, like, Nicole Hardman said via ESPN. So then I went and read Teicher's story. These are quotes from Nicole Hardman from media availability leading up to the Super Bowl. This has all been out there. These quotes are more stale than the bread on top of your refrigerator should be at this point. Like, if you have milk in your fridge that you bought the day that Nicole Hardman said this stuff, you should dump that milk. Which is, by the way, to be extremely clear, is in no way an indictment on Teicher going to it. What Teicher did was he went back to those quotes and said, all right, let's build out. I actually don't even know that he started with those quotes. He may have started with, I want to write about Nicole Hardman. But he built out this Nicole Hardman story, and it gives Hardman's point of view, and then Teicher has paragraphs like this one, which just sort of leave very, very nonchalantly a smoldering crater. The Chiefs haven't actually. I'm gonna read Hardman's quote and then Teicher's follow up here.
Oh wait, do you want Josh reads the internet?
If it's right there, then I'll do it. I'll add one more paragraph.
Josh reads the internet.
A lot of people think I can't run routes. I'm like, what? People have the misunderstanding that I can't run routes. I'm very capable of running every route on the tree, unquote. Teicher writes following that, the Chiefs haven't shown that confidence in Hardman yet. He's been a part-time player since the Chiefs drafted him in the second round of the 2019 draft, and the reasons for that seemed apparent in the Super Bowl. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes threw Hardman's way 6 times but completed just 2 passes for 4 yards. If the Chiefs agree that Hardman is more well-rounded and not just a threat on deep throws, jet sweeps, and end-arounds, it may soon be time for them to prove it. There you go. That's me reading the internet. It was a bit of an abridged one today. So this whole piece from Teicher is great, and we talked about Hardman a little bit. I did Sports Sunday yesterday morning, and we talked about Hardman some then, so to have Teicher bring the story to the surface this morning, happy to see it. Because I think it's a genuinely interesting part of the Chiefs' kind of roster tweaking that they're going to have to do in the months to come. It's not news that Nicole Hardman says out loud, I think I can run every route in the route tree. He's a professional wide receiver in year 2. If he was like, man, I'm still learning the routes, that would have been a story whenever he said it during Super Bowl week, because yikes. Now, what I would love to talk about, and we'd love to talk to Hardman about at some point, and hopefully, I think this would have come out if we would have had locker room access over the course of this last season, but we didn't. Hardman talked a lot in his rookie year. But I would have loved for the conversation of like, hey, so you definitely know the route tree and you're comfortable with the playbook and everything at this point. You have to assume those things. He's gone through 2 years. How do you feel about the aspect that is reading the defense and then breaking off into whatever other thing the playbook then suggests for you? That's the answer that I think would be way more telling in terms of just where Hardman is at this point. I don't know what he would say to that. I don't know what the Chiefs believe. Here are some things I do know, though, and that, again, Teicher touches on there. I was really high on Nicole Hardman coming into this year. I thought another offseason even being truncated, another year with the playbook, another year with Patrick Mahomes. He's got all this talent, all this speed. I'm all about it. And here's what we know about Hardman at this point. I wish I had cold, hard stats to come with this, and I just don't right now. If somebody ends up doing some research on this, I'd be thrilled. Otherwise, maybe I'll try to make this a bigger research project for myself. Nicole Hardman, several times this year, just off the top of my head, came out in the first 15 plays, which is the scripted first 15 I'm guessing it's not exactly 15 every time. The way that drives go change things,
though, yeah.
but roughly, because I don't know that I don't want to assume that every single person knows what that means.
They probably come out with 15 play script, or whether or not they use all 15 plays for various reasons.
Do you stop at 13 to something? You have to switch it up because you end up on 3rd and long, whatever. But yeah, but the plays you're planning to open the game with, to be more general, Hardman was involved heavily in those first couple of drives in several games this year. Where you go, McCole Hardman game? He gets a shot downfield a little bit. He gets an end around. He gets, some of that backfield motion, but then the ball ends up going somewhere else. But Hardman was the guy that took the defender's eyes with him. He gets a little screen or some sort of short pass that sets him up in space so he can go jitterbug down the field in a way that car in front of me when I was driving today tried to do. Stop and start speed. And then as the game goes on, it just seems like the well dries up a little bit. It actually probably, I'm going to try to find during the break now that I'm thinking of it this way. I think like Pro Football Reference probably has some splits into like first half, second half splits or something like that somewhere down the page. If you find it, Rudy, cool, let me know. And if not, I'll look during the break. But It seems relatively clear, and I'm also hesitant for those numbers to even come through as gospel because I'm remembering what I'm seeing more so than kind of the lump sum numbers at the end of a season. But it just seems like, with the exception of a couple of plays here and there, Hardman didn't fully ever. He never fully merged with the Chiefs' offense in the way that I was really hoping to see him do so over the course of this season. And then beyond that, and this is the thing that's going to be really hard for us to find through a box score, it seems like most of McCole Hardman's touches were very much manufactured for McCole Hardman. And if you pull him off, that guy has value. The guy that isn't really a fully formed wide receiver, but is able to do what you ask, to have a couple big plays every couple of games, there's absolutely value to that. But the value isn't replacing Sammy Watkins in this offense, even, replacing Tyreek Hill. McCole Hardman got drafted right after Tyreek Hill kind of got thrown back up into the air again, and we just didn't know where he was going to fall. So the Chiefs take McCole Hardman, and at the very least, I imagine they were thinking, you know what? If we don't have Tyreek Hill, if it's for a stretch of games, if it's permanent, if we don't have Tyreek Hill, well, McCole Hardman's speed will allow us to keep running our offense in the way that we started running it with Tyreek Hill. McCole Hardman is not the receiver Hill was then. He's certainly not the receiver Hill is now. But that had to be a part of the logic, and he's got the talent to totally have earned that second-round draft slot. I have no problem with that sort of evaluation of him. But the development just hasn't. Whatever the development is, I try not to speak out over my knowledge on stuff like this. Whatever development Hardman has pulled in the last couple of years, and especially this year, it has not resulted in him becoming the third and really probably even fourth weapon of choice in this offense whenever you're at the point of, we need to make something happen. Where am I going to go? And I think that there's a chance that changes, year 3 in Andy Reid's offense, something we've talked about a good number of times. You also saw it sooner with your Tyreek Hills, your Deshaun Jacksons, your Jeremy Maclins, those types of guys that really found major success in Andy Reid's offenses. I don't think it felt like this through the first couple of years. And again, Hardman was obviously over. He was drafted 3 rounds sooner than Tyreek Hill was. For all of, and Hill dropped because of all of the off-field stuff. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't like an NFL-ready receiver by any standards.
Even if you take away the off-the-field stuff, he wasn't like some first-round pick.
He was a project. He was a project with a crazy high ceiling, but he was still a project. And Hardman was To some extent, also.
For sure, yeah.
Hardman played in the SEC, so you would think a little less so. But
he began his transition to wide receiver earlier than Tyreek Hill did. Now he didn't grow up playing wide receiver, but Tyreek Hill really didn't make that transition to full-time receiver until he got to the NFL. While Nicole Hardman, I think, did it his second year at Georgia, or it might not even been his freshman year at Georgia.
I think it's in that range. I'm not cashing out on Nicole Hardman at this point. If I'm holding Nicole Hardman stock that I bought last offseason because I thought I was buying high, but I was actually just sort of buying where I was at this point last year, I'm not selling now. I'm diamond hands, baby. I'm just hanging out here, and I'm just gonna see where this thing goes. And if it busts out at the end of this year, if Hardman hasn't gotten a larger role, then I'm just going to have to eat those losses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality of where the Chiefs are at. You know, if somebody offered a 4th-round pick for Hardman at this point, taking that would be like a really big indictment on where they thought he was at. I think that him knowing the offense and having some spots that they can use him in is probably worth that value. It's just I'm starting to get continually more and more worried that there may not be a ceiling above that.
Yeah. The player he is right now is a valuable weapon to the offense. It's just whether or not he can become it's whether or not like he is really just is the third guy, right? The guy who is capable of big plays, but who you can't rely on consistently in game in and game out. Or is he the guy who can he take that step? Can he be the guy who is making plays game in, game out, who is always a threat to have that big catch? And it doesn't always have to be, the 40, 50, 60-yard catch. It's just it's picking up the first down, right? It's just catching the ball on a 3rd and 4 for 6 yards and getting the first down. Because as great as Tyreek Hill is at running just straight down the field, we saw it in the game against the Browns, it's just running a little 3-yard out, and he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like Tyreek Hill, what makes Tyreek Hill a number 1 receiver is that he truly can do everything.
Yeah.
And again, I don't expect Nicole Hardman obviously to ever hit Tyreek Hill's skills. And part of that is like he's not as strong as Tyreek Hill. I don't expect him to ever be as muscular. He'll never
he's
be able
not
to
gonna
high
out
point
jump
the ball.
Right. Yep, sure.
So he'll never be Tyreek Hill. But the Chiefs have never really asked him to be Tyreek Hill. But can you take that next step to being that number 2 receiver? To even being like I don't think he'll ever quite reach Deshaun Jackson types, but can you be closer to that than what you are right now?
The other thing, and I think we saw this a lot whenever Sammy Watkins got hurt early in the year, Demarcus Robinson was getting those extra snaps.
Yeah. Be a guy that you can rely, that the offense can legitimately count on you.
And even him, really quick, I don't know if you're going to have the same thought that I do. If I say Demarcus Robinson moment 2020 season, do you know what you think of? I'll tell you what I think of if you can't. If it doesn't jump to mind for you, I will.
I don't know if there is like a moment, because like I know like and that was also the other thing where we talk about a little bit of disappointment in McCole. I thought DeMarcus kind of took a step back because remember in 2019 Tyreek Hill gets hurt. And again, DeMarcus is what DeMarcus is. Yep. But, like, DeMarcus showed that he was capable of having moments in games in 2019.
Didn't he have some really dumb play this year?
It was, I don't want to say it was really dumb, but it was a big, bad play.
I'm now remembering.
Didn't he run backwards or something?
He may. Oh, that's actually true. That did happen. That's not even what I was thinking of. You're right. That did happen.
One play now where he essentially caught a ball and kind of like turned up field and kind of went out of bounds, and then immediately realized that he could have just like walked into the end zone.
I think you guys are probably talking about the same play. That's not even what I was thinking about, but that one's not great.
Yeah, but like in 2019, remember against the Raiders, he had like it was 2 touchdown catches against the Raiders. Like he had big games in 2019.
I remember those.
Early. But that's
early
what I mean. In the year. Yeah,
yes. When Tyreek Hill hurt his collarbone. But that's what my point was. Like he showed that he is capable of having those moments, and this year he just disappeared.
This year, by the way, he took fewer snaps this year than he did last year. Demarcus Robinson, 65% this year, 70% last year. The moment that I remember from Demarcus Robinson this year, what you said, your trigger word there for me was talking about it. You can rely on him. It was the interception at the goal line against the Raiders, where Mahomes throws that ball, and at the moment, everyone's like, oh, man, Mahomes blew it. And then from the first replay, guys like Seth and Nate was probably tweeting this at the time, it started flowing in almost immediately. It's like, oh, he was supposed to come back for that ball. He was supposed to, and then you see Mahomes immediately after the play, like he's waving
he's
back
waving
towards
him
himself.
Like, yeah.
He's, like, he's
I know
fanning
what play you're
himself on a
talking about
hot
now.
day. And in that instance, his sort of main deal was like being the guy that you can trust to do the right thing within the confines of this offense. He didn't even do the right thing in that moment. It's frustrating.
And that's what it felt like happened with him this year. Whereas again in 2019, and again Demarcus Robinson has always been the guy who you're like at his absolute best. He's nothing more than a number 3, right? If he is literally anything more than your number 3, you got problems.
Yeah.
And you would rather him be your number 4.
Yeah.
But like you could live with a receiving core that's number 3. And again, I felt like in 2019 he at least showed like some like it was like it was doing the right thing, right? It was blocks down the field. Again, when given the moment, when Tyreek Hill goes down, showing that he can step up and have good games. And then this year, it was he did. I saw his numbers. I think he finished like 45 catches or something. I honestly thought to myself, that's like 20 more catches than I would have guessed.
When did those come?
Yeah,
100%.
Like, he just did. He just the plays that I remember, and this is probably a bit unfair because it would have been an insanely tough catch. But it's the touchdown, the drop touchdown against Houston, right? Like it's and again, it would have been an insanely tough catch, but it is a catch that I think a good amount of NFL receivers will make. Certainly, I think Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins make that catch every time, and it's not fair for him to put Demarcus Robinson on that standard because he's just not those guys. But it was just like every play this year was kind of almost like a what if, or it was like you were this close to making a play, and yet you failed to make a play. Like you had the chance to make a play, but you couldn't make the play for whatever, whether it's because you didn't come back for the ball or because you turned and just weren't totally aware where you were at on the field and stepped out of bounds when you probably you were about 8 yards from the end zone with nobody really near you.
Yeah.
Or it's, not fully, holding on to a football in the end zone.
Nicole Hardman had 45% of the snaps last year. Now, again, so last year, Tyreek Hill missed a large stretch of it, but rookie season, Nicole Hardman played 45% of the Chiefs' snaps. What would your guess be for how many snaps, what percentage of snaps he took this year? Beards, you can guess second.
I would probably
45% in his rookie season.
I would probably say he was up to about between 55 and 60. So but probably closer to 55. So I'll say about 56.
Beards, 45% last year. How many this year?
270,000.
Percent?
Yeah.
Okay. He had 45% of the snaps, offensive snaps, in his rookie year. This year, he played 45% of the offensive snaps.
I just would have assumed a bit of an uptick.
So I was close.
You were less close than Rudy was. That's a dub for Rudy, technically.
Price is Right.
I thought you might have gone like 2%, and then you would have probably then it would have been Price is Right rules. You could have just said $1, and you would have been good. It would have been weird because the question was not in money at all, but it would have worked.
But you would have won.
I won in my soul.
I just think it's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on, and again, maybe there's an argument for third year usage goes up, and I'm not like here to fight that logic. I'm hopeful for the same reasons I was hopeful about Hardman this last offseason, but I was also we're kind of in fool me twice, shame on me territory.
And if you want me to like give you the optimist side, it's what you hope is that. Again, at least with some of these comments, right, that maybe there is more of a with Sammy Watkins leaving, depending, and this is obviously depending on what the Chiefs do in the
I want to talk. We'll talk about that.
Depending on what happens in this offseason, Nicole Hardman is just the snaps are just going to have to increase just based off how it is right now. Moves could happen that could change all that, but in theory, Sammy Watkins and Demarcus Robinson are both gone. Byron Pringle is an exclusive rights free agent, which means he'll be back, though, which he should be back. He's a good, solid player. You want him in one of your 5. So Nicole Hardman snaps have to go up. So what you hope is that he will look at that, right, as like this is really the opportunity. And then also maybe have, like, in theory, this might be his first full offseason where he actually gets to have a real offseason or is more of an offseason than this previous one where obviously having to deal with COVID and not being able to do maybe exactly the stuff that you want to do like that. And again, part of that is still, right, like we still have a little bit to go before things are going to be back to normal. But like he might actually get a full mini camp and another, maybe like a full normal training camp where he gets more work in, and hopefully you see that jump. Normally you see it between years 1 and year 2. I think Tanner Matthew might have had the quote that he felt like he jumped more between years 2 and 3 than he did between 1 and 2. And so I think if you're trying to find the the optimistic side, I would say maybe the lack of the huge progression in offense was due to a weird offseason.
Yeah.
And even if this offseason is weird again, it is at least a second time going through it to where maybe you have a better idea of how to prepare through it, right? Because obviously this was something that nobody really knew how to deal with. And not that we know really how to deal with it now, because I think there are plenty of examples out there that show that we still don't really know what the bleep we're doing. But in theory, the Chiefs will have the Chiefs offseason plan in general, I imagine will be a lot better this year because they'll have a better idea of how to function with all this.
Also important, maybe equally important to everything that Rudy just eloquently laid out there, Matt Derrick has tweeted out a selfie of himself and Izzy in preparation for their segment coming up on the show in about 10 minutes. I've spent a good portion of while you were talking there, Rudy, also
just looking at this photo.
Looking at the photo and then also trying to look at the shelving.
Yeah, what's Matt got up there?
A bunch of Star Wars
I see
stuff.
Star Wars
Just
stuff.
a whole shelf of Star Wars stuff.
What are these books?
And then looking up Matt's nostrils. Those are really the two things I've been doing.
I'm trying to see if I can. Are these football books? Are they Star Wars books? A lot of
we can
Star
ask.
Wars
Those
stuff.
are things that we can ask Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com here in about 15 minutes.
Izzy is staring into my soul right now.
I'm just glad that Izzy is three-dimensional still.
That's a good point.
That's really where I'm at.
Good point.
We'll talk to Matt here in about 15 minutes. Whenever we come back, I want to talk about the Chiefs offense in the context of everything we just put out there about Nicole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins to some extent. I don't think that the Chiefs should in any way dramatically reset anything because they lost in the Super Bowl.
New quarterback,
probably.
I said it.
I'm going to say
trade up for Travis Etienne, top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Even though he'll probably go at 29. Don't risk it. Trade up to 10.
That I don't follow college football as closely, but I don't think he's a quarterback either. So I don't
He's
really.
a running back.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so I don't think that's going to personally.
Take a kicker.
Personally, I'm not going to follow you down the running back in the
Don't
first round.
take a kicker necessarily. Take a short kicker specialist in the first round. You still want Bucker on the team, so you have two kickers. One guy to kick the long ones, one guy to kick the short ones.
Some teams have a kickoff specialist.
Exactly.
The Chiefs just need a chip shot
PAT
specialist. Yeah.
Onside kick specialist.
35 and under. Oh, there's only one of those guys, and he's in Atlanta.
Who has the first pick?
Young Hui Kim. Ooh, can we trade a first-round pick to Atlanta for their kicker? They might not do it.
I was gonna say maybe they should. I don't know. The big lesson from the Super Bowl, if they do stick with Mahomes, if they give that guy another shot, maybe they try drafting offensive linemen who are physically incapable of getting injured.
His time's coming to an end, man. It's prove it. It's time to prove it or shut up.
They could draft Wolverine to play.
He hasn't
guard.
done a lot in his career yet. It's time to
low center of gravity, but he's not going to get hurt. And also, if Vita Vea tries to come through, he can just stab him with his talons. Yeah. That might be a foul, but I'll tell you what, he's not getting to Mahomes.
I don't know if there's anything in a rule book about, metal claws coming out of your hands being not being able to use
If it's a part of your body, if he gets hurt, he's got super fast regenerative ability. He's going to be back out there on that field.
That's
quick.
what I'm saying. That's the most important
He
trade.
needs 2 plays off tops.
Max. Yeah, he's basically.
Yeah. And honestly, one of those plays is just the mandatory. Hey, you have to come out for the play.
Right, because you're gushing blood out of your neck.
Yeah, and then the second play is just the recovery play.
Sue and Vontaze Burfict could sandwich Wolverine and he'd walk it off on the sideline and come back in and then just pop his claws and go, all right, guys, let's try this again.
I mean, Ndamukong Suh and Vontaze Burfict could both shoot him, and he would walk it off. That's sort of the Wolverine. And that's why it's so important. The Chiefs just need to have an uninjurable offensive lineman.
Yes.
But there is one thing that I do think is a little bit interesting within the context of some of the things that went wrong in the Super Bowl, and it goes back to the wide receiver position, so I got a take on that. I'm doing a lot of radio teases tonight. I don't know why. I'll explain why. I'll figure it out during the break, and we'll talk about the thing next.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and marketing company. This past year has been difficult for everyone. Working long hours, we helped hundreds of companies by upgrading their websites, adding e-commerce, print portals, and other online functionality. Digital Lagoon created social media campaigns, newsletters, and marketing concepts. These companies just didn't survive. In many cases, they prospered. As we enter 2021 with optimism, let Digital Lagoon help you make an online difference. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm Show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Your Kansas City Acura dealers are partnering with quarterback sensation Patrick Mahomes in support of his charity, 15 and the Mahomies, a foundation dedicated to improving the lives of children by focusing on health, wellness, and providing resources for communities in need. Test drive any Acura at J. Wolf Acura and J. Wolf Acura of Overland Park, and they'll make a donation on your behalf. Plus, you'll be entered for a chance to win a Patrick Mahomes jersey. Shop, save, and make a difference at your Kansas City Acura dealers.
Tired of feeling like the kitchen help at your own party? Join in on the fun and be the host with the most with an outdoor kitchen from Complete Home Concepts. Call the outdoor kitchen experts for a consultation and estimate. 816-471-HOME, 816-471-HOME.
You know what goes well with craft ale and canned beer? Merlot and Pinot? First dates and date nights? Marvin Gaye and Green Day? A fire pit from Complete Home Concepts. 816-471-HOME, 816-471-HOME.
Hey, it's Lebo here for CertaPro Painters. You know, now is a great time to update your home. Whether it's a new look inside or some exterior protection for this harsh KC climate, there's no better place to go than CertaPro. You can give them a call at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com to schedule your free estimate. Now, they have knocked it out of the park every time I've used them. Inside my home or outside where my paint job still looks great. Their attention to detail is outstanding, from the estimate through the prep work, the job itself, and especially on cleanup. Worry-free all the way. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so they're local business owners right here in our community. They do it all. Premier quality products with competitive pricing, plus a great warranty. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call right now at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA. Experience the CertaPro Painters difference for yourself. They don't consider the job finished until you're completely satisfied. It's CertaPro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Tell you what, this has been the most enjoyable show we've done in a while.
Oh, for sure. Stupid Chiefs.
Stupid damn Chiefs.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
I'm going to give you a speedy take on the Chiefs receiver thing because we'll talk to Matt Derrick momentarily here. A lot of Star Wars stuff on that shelf. Apparently, Izzy has blocked some things from the bookshelf. We'll ask Matt for more information on that momentarily. But the one thing that I think the Chiefs could sort of take away from the Super Bowl is a worst-case scenario offensively for what happens if and when, now I suppose, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill both get all the attention that we expect and they have pretty much their worst games at the same time. Because that happened in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The whole point of why I was still optimistic, even whenever I thought there's a chance that maybe something like that happens in terms of just the Bucs playing all of the attention in the world to those two guys, was, well, then Sammy Watkins is back, and all he's got to do is beat one-on-one coverage. You just need Nicole Hardman to make a couple of big plays against one-on-one coverage. You just need Demarcus Robinson to have a couple big plays against one-on-one coverage.
And in part because the pass rush was getting to Mahomes so quickly, there wasn't a lot of time for those guys. I want to at least acknowledge that that's a big issue, both for the second-tier pass catchers and for the first-tier guys being Kelsey and Hill.
Because I know you saw the play where Travis Kelce was wide open essentially, but
It was
Patrick
painful.
Mahomes had to just run for his life.
He was, I even Mahomes, I don't think he ever saw it because he was running right and Kelsey was open on the left side of the field immediately. I think they had scored on a very similar-looking play against Cleveland.
Yes, it was the exact same
Brutal.
play against the Browns.
It's
that Kelce
brutal.
scored.
So it's not like neither of them could possibly get open. I think if they had a better offensive line game, we'd be talking about it a little bit differently. But I still think it's fair to ask, hey, what happens if this offense really does have that third receiver, that third pass catcher that you think this guy is going to punish defenses for paying too much attention to Hill and Kelsey? I think the answer is probably what this offense looks like with fully healthy Sammy Watkins. That version of this offense, though, is shown up for like 10 games.
Doesn't really exist.
It doesn't really exist.
Certainly can't count on it.
And if you want to ask, hey, well, what about whenever that's not out there? That's pretty much the rest of the offense most of the time. So it's not like they can't get by without having it, because they have gotten by without having that, even though they've got a second-round pick and a very expensive free agent who have both, to this point, failed to be that third guy. They've been really good without one of those guys stepping up to that spot. I would be very excited if at some point this offseason they prioritize that and they just go back to fire-breathing dragon mode.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rick Edelman, #1 New York Times bestselling author and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his hit radio show. Let's listen to Rick help a caller who's saving for retirement.
Hey, Rick, how can I keep my retirement money safe?
By taking some risk. That sounds weird, I know, but when it comes to saving for retirement, if you try to keep your money safe, you're actually taking big risks. Savings accounts, well, they're not safe from inflation. They're not safe from taxes. There are, in fact, 18 different asset classes, and they all have different risks. So spread your money around, so no one thing can wipe you out. It's like having 12 eggs in 12 baskets. Diversification helps you manage your risk while still giving you the opportunities provided by the financial markets.
That was award-winning radio host Rick Edelman. Get help diversifying your portfolio from one of our financial planners by calling 888-PLAN-RICK or visit rickedelman.com.
Check out the latest gear in the 810 fan shop at 810whb.com/shop. We have hoodies, long and short sleeve t-shirts, and much more. It's all just a click away. Go to 810whb.com/shop to see the whole selection. Check out the latest designs now available in all sizes, including onesies. That's right, 810whb.com/shop. The 810 fan shop has something for everyone, and we have new gear dropping all the time. Go to 810whb.com/shop.
Aristocrat Motors is starting off the celebration of 2021 with the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned event. When you buy a certified Mercedes-Benz, you not only get an unlimited mile warranty, but also for January, you can receive your first 2 payments and interest rates as low as 1.99% on select models. View our largest selection and make your choice. Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at aristocratmotors.com. Payments only from MBFS. Not all models qualify for rate with approved credit. Ends January 31st, 2021.
Hi, it's Jim, and here's what's hot at Smoke and Fire. Mardi Gras is a great time to party, and there is nothing like barbecue to kick it off. Now through Tuesday, buy any Extreme Barbecue, Primo, Memphis, or Kamado Joe, and get a free accessory pack and free charcoal. Act fast and get 50% off select barbecue tool sets, mitts, and aprons. Think family, think friends, think Smoke and Fire.
This is your 30-day warning.
Deep three, ring it up! It is good! As time expires! From ruin to redemption, the Virginia Cavaliers! Chalmers, 4-3, and the tie, he got it! He got it!
March Madness, the Final Four, and National Championship are all on America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Chad Ryder. ESPN's Adrian Warjanowski reports that Lakers star Anthony Davis has a strained calf and tendonitis in his right Achilles. He will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. Pistons and Blake Griffin agreed for him to be held out of the lineup until his reps work through a resolution on his playing future. The Pistons trying to work out a trade or a potential buyout, reports ESPN's Adrian Warjanowski.
He's a player who, while he doesn't play above the rim anymore, he's not the all-NBA Blake Griffin that people remember. He still has shown this season, to be a pretty efficient offensive player. He's shooting. You see him obviously stepping out, shooting the three. Played a back-to-back last week and played well.
Blake Griffin still owed the remainder of his $36.6 million contract for this season and $39 million for next season. Woj also reports that the Cavs won't play Andre Drummond as they try to work to trade the two-time All-Star center by the March 25th deadline. On the scoreboard, fourth quarter in D.C., the Wizards lead the Rockets 106-93. Bradley Beal, 31 points. John Wall has 24 against his former team. Bulls lead the Pacers 86-83 fourth quarter. The Hawks in front of the Knicks 68-66 early third quarter in New York. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of former NFL receiver Vincent Jackson. The 38-year-old was found dead in a Florida hotel room this morning. Jackson, a three-time Pro Bowler, over 12 NFL seasons with the Chargers and Buccaneers.
We're back on Tuesday with the latest on the Anthony Davis Achilles injury. Plus, it's the battle of the best in the West versus the beast in the East as the hottest team in the NBA, the Utah Jazz, host the Philadelphia 76ers. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
It's like, I'm trying to think of a good, home repair project to compare the Chiefs to at this point. So, I don't know. We tried the WD-40. We tried the duct tape.
With Joshua Brisco.
Have you tried just hitting that doorknob with a fish?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
As I mentioned earlier, the liners are only going to get stranger as Beards goes back through the archives to try to find just things like that I've said that are complete non sequiturs 3 years, 4 years out of context. So those are just going to continue getting even stranger.
Who needs context?
Yeah, it really just holds you down.
Gets in the way of everything.
It really does. In fact, that may have been the lesson of the conversation we had last hour. That's a professional radio segue. Because some sort of weird things happened today just about Nicole Hardman. It was sort of a weird little... I definitely honed in on it closer than almost anyone else would have any reason to, because I basically only exist in Chiefs Twitter at this point. So it is essentially my lifeblood, but it's something I very much wanted to talk to with Matt Derrick about. Did I say that sentence right? You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Check out all of his work at ChiefsDigest.com. If you want to remember what it felt like to feel joy after championship games, you can check out At Last, the Kansas City Chiefs' unforgettable 2019 championship season at triumphbooks.com/ChiefsWin. It would be great if that link was triumphbooks.com/ChiefsWin again, Matt, but that didn't happen. So here we are.
Here we are. I have 20 some odd chapters of a book about the Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowl running back run.
Oh man!
Maybe I'll have to post them in some sort of form.
Oh, I guess you can. Can you publish it as almost ran it back? It's just you can use the AES logo and everything if you want with the parentheses and everything.
Almost entirely ran it back.
Almost entirely ran it back. I'll write the foreword. I'll do that for free.
I can only assume that would probably be as successful as Super Bowl merchandise going for 50% off right now.
Oh,
I think you could probably count on getting down to 75% before you make a purchase.
Is that, if any of this ends up being some sort of contractual violation, tell me to bleep off. But are those chapters is that just dead now? Are those just words that no longer have meaning? Is there can those circle back at some point? Is there going to be a book about the Chiefs' 2-year-long run-it-back campaign before they win Super Bowl 56?
Yeah, there's actually 2 chapters that will be making an appearance on Chiefs Digest in some form here pretty soon.
Okay.
That I just really enjoyed. They were a lot of fun, and a lot of work went into them. So that's why I want to kind of get them out there in some form. But one's about Tyreek Hill, and another one's about Patrick Mahomes, and they're both things that I don't think's really been talked about a lot before, and I've managed to get some insight from both those guys over the last few months. So yeah, those were 2 things that I was really looking forward to being in the book. But you know what? Hey, things happen. So we'll figure out a way to get that out there and let people enjoy it in one form or another.
All right, that's good at least. But boy, just sort of the 20 chapters that I imagine you symbolically, because like just deleting the files would first of all not be helpful, nor would it be very satisfying. But I think if you just printed off an entire manuscript and then threw them in an old-timey fireplace, that would probably feel like taking a warm shower after a long season.
Yeah, I guess I could take the PDFs, so the proofs, everything like that, and just do something with them. But yeah, the only thing, one really disappointment, and I had to share this with our mutual friend Pete Sweeney. I
wouldn't call him a friend. I would say a hostile colleague at best.
There you go. That's probably more appropriate. Yeah, I think that's exactly how you should probably word it. But
a man who I've spoken to before.
I had a chapter that was entitled #Anything is Possible. Yeah.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking.
Can you just send me the PDFs of that chapter?
Yeah, Can I buy the book?
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Can you just put?
If you autograph it, I'll buy it.
Can you call it #Anything is Possible and just put a picture of Chad Henne on the cover?
That's something I need to get that signed by him at some point or something. Yeah, that's.
Ooh, okay. Hey! I got an idea that doesn't completely suck. I don't know. This is something I've seen books do before. You re-release at last with bonus chapters. You can include the Mahomes chapter. You include the Tyreek Hill chapter. It's a hardback. It's a collector's edition or whatever. I think the like several years later updated re-release version. I think Bill Simmons did that with his basketball book, which I think is what it was called. I think it was called the basketball book. I think Shea Serrano has done that with some of his books and with a couple of his books he's done. I feel like there's something there. How's that for an idea? And I'll write the foreword.
I like the way you think. And that's the other disappointing thing because Dan Hughes wrote a foreword for me for the book, and it was fantastic. He did a great job with it. So just another reason why I'm so completely bummed that we don't get to enjoy it.
Maybe Izzy can just shred it. She'd probably enjoy that, right?
She would absolutely enjoy shredding it.
That would be good at least. I'm glad to see we were talking about the photo that you tweeted out last segment and how we were just sort of enamored by all the Star Wars things. I know that the droid that you made I can see, but it's just I see Star Wars stuff on the top of the shelf as I was telling Rudy. I'm just glad that Izzy is still 3-dimensional. That's always my biggest concern.
She's not flat, Izzy. No, she's fully.
She is not. What's your most prized possession of the things on the shelves behind you in this picture that people can see on Twitter at Matt Derrick?
Gosh, I guess it's the things that people can see. Man, because I think it's just
I'll say just with on the entire on the shelves altogether. Also, it's the picture is gonna go up on our visual streams on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you're watching there, it'll be right there in a second.
Oh, well, there you go. I think one thing you can probably see is definitely a valued collectible item. You can see kind of on the top shelf over my left shoulder. I know you can see the pewter figurines. I have a small collection of Star Wars pewter. But you can see that I know there's a Darth Vader mug that you can see, the silver mug. Behind that is my collection of Star Wars collectible glasses from Burger King in the 1970s and 80s. So I've got the entire Star Wars line, most of the Empire Strikes Back, and a few Return of the Jedi. I don't have a full, complete collection. I've been trying to work on that over the years. There's a really cool book that you can kind of see, and it's the Star Wars Vault. And that is really awesome because it's like a collection of all these different Star Wars things, and it's like a pop-out book that you can then kind of pull out different things and replicas of collectibles over the years. So it's pretty cool. Below that, unfortunately, I don't think you can see it. There is a picture of me with my friend Audra, and in between us is 80s pop star Taylor Dayne.
All right, so everyone time out really quick. Beards, does that name ring a bell?
No.
Rudy, does that name ring a bell?
It does not.
Matt, it's 0-for-3, my friend.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you guys go Google Taylor Dayne during a break, and you will all be
do it right now.
happy that you did.
Beards,
I'm going to do it on the video stream.
Beards, go ahead and I don't want you to censor anything at all. I want you to just Google on your on the Twitch stream, just search Taylor Dayne and see if we can find any
I have found Taylor Dayne.
I just don't know who this is. She was on The Masked Singer last year.
There you go. I knew she was on something recently. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I haven't watched.
I also have not. Well, listen.
I've not seen that either, but I've read about it.
This is great. I'm going to see if she's tweeted anything recently that's interesting while I ask you about Nicole Hardman, probably, if that works for you.
I guess I should say this of my other collectibles as I glance around. I also have the 1987 Fleer baseball update set, which exists only because it has the rookie card of Kansas City Royals outfielder Bo Jackson.
Pretty cool. Pretty good. Good sports memorabilia. He's no Taylor Dayne, I guess, but that's still pretty neat.
I've met them both, though. So there's two people I've met. So I've got plenty of brushes with celebrities.
I don't like the idea of just, hey, quick, name two very different people you've met. Because I could just, I feel pretty good about just going like, Patrick Mahomes, Guy Fieri. Come at me. That's the two cards in my hand are Patrick Mahomes, Guy Fieri. That's what I'm opening with.
That's pretty strong. I mean, I'm going to still say Taylor Dayne and Bo Jackson.
That's pretty good,
That's
though.
pretty good, too.
I like the one sports figure, one pop star of some sort. Yeah, I think that's really excellent. Did you have a chapter about Nicole Hardman in your book that doesn't exist?
There were references to him, but no full chapter on him.
I want to start from the sort of kickoff point for me today and why I started thinking about Nicole Hardman a bunch more. We talked about him some even yesterday on Sports Sunday. But then this morning, Adam Teicher has the story that he puts out on ESPN.com, and it's got some quotes from Nicole Hardman from before the Super Bowl, which is context that was very much lacking outside of Teicher's story. He made it clear, but no one else who aggregated it from that point forward seemed to. Which was very confusing and just made for a very weird little mini news cycle. But, Hardman says, I can run routes, which makes sense for a professional wide receiver at the end of his second season. You would hope that he's got, the route tree. But then Teicher, it makes the point that, the Chiefs clearly haven't given him that type of trust or haven't used him in a way that, would indicate that they have that type of trust in him. I've talked about this now several times. I'm sure we've talked about it at one point or another. Hardman has had several instances where it seems like he's kicked off a game with a bunch of manufactured touches, the jet sweeps, the little end arounds, the motion in the backfield. Sometimes he takes it, sometimes he doesn't. And you go, oh, wow, here comes the Nicole Hardman game. And then he kind of disappears through the rest of the game. He ended up with the exact same percentage of offensive snaps this year as he did last year. He played 45% of the Chiefs' offensive snaps both seasons. What do you make of the place that we're at with Hardman right now? As I imagine he's going to be a pretty large part of some of our off-season conversations about the players that we're not fully sure where they belong yet.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough love kind of statement in this sense, but for Nicole Hardman, which is that it's a problem to me that he thinks that way. Because I'll give him credit that maybe, the whole context isn't there, and maybe he said there's more of it, and I'll have to go back and listen to some of that stuff too and see if there's more there. But, that's where and you know what, I mean, you'll see some of this when I have my Tyreek Hill chapter of the book come out in print form of some way or another, is that Tyreek Hill and Nicole Hardman were not completely dissimilar as rookies. I mean, especially in the way that they were used, their productivity, their production across the board, there's a lot of similarities. There's zero similarities between Nicole Hardman in year 2 and Tyreek Hill in year 2.
Yeah.
And, and there's not going to be any similarities between year 3 of those guys unless Nicole Hardman does something different. Yeah. Because, the mentality of saying that he can run routes and that he is a complete receiver now is a problem because he's not, for one, And two, you look at a guy like Hill. Hill knew that he was not a complete receiver. As good as he was as a rookie, and here we are. We were talking about, Tyreek Hill as being, even as a rookie, we were talking about how, hey, if there's a redraft, this guy's going in the first round. Yeah. I mean, there was just that kind of talent. And as good as that was, Tyreek Hill knew it wasn't good enough. And he has worked ridiculously hard in the off seasons, really ever since 2018, to get better. And unless Nicole Hardman says that, he says, as good as I am right now, it is not good enough, and goes out and tries to figure out how to get better this year, this offseason, it's not, I don't think things are going to change anymore. I mean, he would be getting opportunities. And this year, with Sammy Watkins banged up as much as he was, and there being opportunities out there on the field, there could have been the numbers and the production from Nicole Hardman if he had taken that leap from year one to year two. I think what we saw out of Nicole Hardman this year was pretty much the same guy we saw last year.
Yeah, it really was. And that, I phrased it this way earlier. I mean, I think if Chiefs players or if NFL players were stocks you could buy in, I would have made a pretty heavy investment in Nicole Hardman last offseason. I was aboard the hype train. I like, second year in Andy Reid's system. You look at Tyreek Hill's jump, and frankly, Nicole Hardman was more of a fully formed receiver out of college than Hill was. He wasn't a pristine DK Metcalf, I guess, who I think we all just kind of overthought a little bit, who didn't take all that much refining and has been pretty good. But like he was drafted more highly, and obviously got a lot of other things were surrounding Hill at the time. But coming out of the SEC, you felt pretty good about him making that jump. I felt pretty good about the second year in the system. And then it was just, like you said, a lot of the same. It seems like he may have run it back as much as anybody did, just in terms of the production, which ended up being disappointing. What I'm curious to see is what the Chiefs are going to do at the position, because if they're thinking that way, and I'm curious if you do think the Chiefs are thinking the way that we are right now, Sammy Watkins and Demarcus Robinson both going into unrestricted free agency. I don't know what kind of market Watkins is going to have, but it's just hard to trust his body at this point. Demarcus Robinson seems like he's pretty much reestablished where exactly he fits. I wonder if this receiver room, as crazy as it seems, isn't right now Tyreek Hill and Byron Pringle, and if there's not room for them to do some more stuff there in terms of Mahomes' pass catchers.
I mean, for next year, Nicole Hardman's not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs are going to give up on him or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when it starts, this next season is the time when you make a decision about whether you want Nicole Hardman after year 4.
Yeah.
Because if he's going to get a contract extension, it's going to be based on what happens this coming season. You want that done before you go into year 4. And right now, I mean, honestly, I don't know that he's necessarily shown enough to justify getting a contract extension. As far as what the Chiefs are going to do, I mean, I do get the impression that they do want and would like to have Sammy Watkins back. But the reality is that that's got to be on a very specific type of contract. I mean, last year his deal was really influenced by the fact that he had a bit of leverage and that he had that big number that was out there, and he had some dead cap money. So, they were able to kind of meet halfway as far as creating a contract that let the Chiefs keep him, gave him a lot of incentives that he didn't meet. But this time around, no, I mean, I don't think there's any team out there that's going to be giving Sammy Watkins, even a 1-year prove-it deal for $10 million.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a lot less than that, and it'll probably be a low base contract with a lot of incentives. And I think the Chiefs could live with that. But I also think that the last half of the season and the Super Bowl showed that the Chiefs need another Sammy Watkins type, and somebody who can do the underneath stuff, somebody who's got some length, somebody who can push some guys around, play a little physical, run over the middle. And they really don't have that. I mean, Demarcus Robinson's the closest, but he's not that either. He's still a little bit more of the lean fly guy. I mean, you need somebody that just can do a little bit of the dirty work. I mean, Watkins is bigger, but Albert Wilson was that guy for a few seasons.
Who sounds like he'll probably be hitting the free agent market, I saw earlier today as well.
Could very well, although Albert's starting to get on the north side of the prime, years of his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's where I could see the Chiefs looking in the free agent market for an affordable backup. You know, if you're gonna bring back Sammy Watkins, I think you want to pair him with someone who is Sammy Watkins light. You know, that can fill in when he's not available. Because I think you just have to plan that he's not going to be there. 16 weeks of every season.
Yeah.
Not, I don't blame him. I think it's just random draw a lot of the time.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Your history tells you that he's not going to be. So I think you have to be prepared for life with or without Sammy Watkins.
So if I don't know why I decided that today is going to be talking about the Chiefs receivers, but it's just sort of where we've been. I think it's interesting. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the edge rushers. It's still February. If I give you Watkins comes back on an incentive heavy deal, Demarcus Robinson comes back, they use a first 2-round draft pick on a wide receiver, or they bring in a wide receiver in free agency, like the number 2 receiver, not just a dude that helps fill out the depth chart. Where do you think those each land, scale of 1 to 10 in likelihood, or you want to rank them or whatever, however you want to do it, between Watkins being back, Robinson being back, them drafting a receiver highly, and then paying a free agent wide receiver who's not Sammy Watkins?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably. I mean, I'm pretty bullish on the idea that Sammy Watkins will be back, just because he seems to want to stay.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm sorry to interrupt you halfway through your first thought, but I've started preparing for that, and I feel like you saying it means that everyone should be preparing for that. It makes sense in all of the ways, but it has to be paired with the fact that it also kind of doesn't make sense in a bunch of ways, and it's going to frustrate some people, I think, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I can understand why some will be frustrated because hey, he was paid a lot of money to be a number 1 receiver and never quite came close to putting up number 1 receiver type numbers. So I can see why people would be frustrated. But once again, Chiefs won a Super Bowl with him. He was a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs feel like that they brought him in for big games at that moment. So the Chiefs never really felt like that they didn't get their money's worth out of Watkins because they paid him to win a Super Bowl, and they did it. And if they were able to bring him back on a pretty affordable deal, I think they'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
The other, if they were in Demarcus Robinson, I mean, I'd put Sammy Watkins at like maybe 75% that he's back. Demarcus Robinson probably a little bit less. I mean, he's at a point where, hey, if he can get a multi-year deal somewhere else, go for it.
Yeah.
But I think that also the Chiefs are always going to be the fallback. That if not, he can always come back to the Chiefs on a 1-year deal. And that's probably in his best interest. So I think there's a range of outcomes there. But more likely than not, I think Demarcus Robinson comes back. The question to me is, if you get that and you've got Byron Pringle coming back, you got Nicole Hardman, you don't really need to go out and spend a lot of money in free agency on a receiver, especially if you feel like there's somebody that you like in that 2nd to 3rd round range that you can get. And, because after that, I mean, you're going to go with guys who can play special teams anyway. I mean, you're going to be looking at the Marcus Kemps of the world and the Gary Dieters and maybe the next generation of those guys if there's some undrafted guys that you like. Because, the reality of it is that Chiefs don't have $14 million plus to go out and get an Allen Robinson or, even a Bashad Perryman. I mean, this might be out of the range of what the Chiefs can afford cost-wise. I hear some names, maybe some guys who would be a little bit more affordable. Maybe there's a Nelson Aguilar would fit on with this team. Maybe there's a few other guys that could fit in at the right price. Chris Conley's going to be free agent again.
Just bring back Albert Wilson, Chris Conley, bring back Robinson and Watkins. Just no new friends. That's where we're at right now. Run it back. Run it back.
And the reality is that this is going to once again be such an upside down free agent market that who knows what the values are going to be. But, I still think it's going to be really, really hard for the Chiefs to even say, hey, we're going to go out and spend even $6 million in cap space next year on a receiver when, as we're going to talk about in the coming weeks, they got other holes to fill too.
If the Chiefs sign Nelson Aguilar and bring back Demarcus Robinson or something, I know it's totally unreasonable. It's totally unfair because we're all playing fantasy football, but there are going to be some people that are going to be probably less than thrilled before we talk ourselves into Nelson Aguilar for 3 months, and then he ends up basically being, the midway point between Demarcus Robinson and Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them just based on, who's available as a free agent. It's not a really attractive free agent crop. Like I said, Allen Robinson's probably going to be the prime guy because of his age and his production. But, you got a lot of old guys. I mean, if you're the Chiefs, are you going to go out and get a A.J. Green?
A.J. Green, I think, is the most fun name, and then you realize that what is A.J. Green's biggest problem? Oh, it's Sammy Watkins' biggest problem? Well, Spider-Man meme. Except for he's older by a bit, I would imagine.
5 years, yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be an upside-down market. I mean, we just don't know how it's going to come out. That's why maybe, somebody that we're just crossing off the list completely, maybe somebody decides to go ring shopping.
Yeah.
And, and Larry Fitzgerald calls you up and says, hey, I'll come to town for 1.5.
That dude, we were talking about him on the show yesterday morning. I don't even know how we ended up there. Larry Fitzgerald is an alien. I don't know if he's going to want to end his career anywhere other than Arizona, but that dude's got, I believe the number was that he's got 17 seasons in the NFL and over 17,000 career yards, which means, for those of you who aren't great at math, that dude's averaged a 1,000-yard season for almost 2 decades.
You want to hear another fun fact?
Yes. Is it about Larry Fitzgerald?
Yes. He has more career tackles than dropped passes.
Unbelievable. And his best quarterbacks have been Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
I would like that. I would be very in on the Larry Fitzgerald ring shopping ceremony.
No, if he calls you up and says, hey, I'll take 1.5 and give me some bonus money if we win the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship, I'd sign that up right now.
God, I would love that. That would
He's
would
only
be a
37.
Blast. Yeah, he's only 37. He's only hold on.
He also always plays.
That is true.
AJ Green's 5 years older than Sammy Watkins. Larry Fitzgerald's 5 years older than AJ Green.
I'm here for Larry Fitzgerald.
And it's still a better value.
Yeah. How many receivers in the league do you know in your heart are definitely going to outperform Larry Fitzgerald next year? Like, the number can't be that high, and he's 1,000 years old by NFL standards.
Some
Silly.
guys, I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's not who he used to be.
Sure,
but still, I mean, Larry Fitzgerald at this point, I mean, on this team, making the number 3 receiver, yikes.
Yeah, a dude who will always catch the passes, the 5-yard passes on 3rd and 4th that hit him in the hands. Yeah, I'll take one. I'll take one of those, please, for $2 million. I'd be very okay with that. Where do you think we've spent all of our breath today on the receiver stuff? How important do you think it is that it looks any different, or how big of a deal do you think this positional conversation is actually going to be? Because the lasting image, fairly or unfairly, from the Super Bowl is going to be that I mean, Hill and Kelsey had their worst games, and no one else did jack bleep in terms of catching passes. Also, Patrick Mahomes didn't have much time to find those guys. They didn't have a lot of time to get open. Do you think we're going to overblow it because that's our lasting image of the Chiefs' receiving issues outside of Hill and Kelsey, or do you think it really is a big deal?
I think it is a big deal, if for no other reason than that was a recurring theme coming into the Super Bowl that I think we just didn't pay enough attention to.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some games there at the end of the second half of the season where it was Hill and Kelsey and nobody else was chipping in. And that's an issue. I mean, and some of that, I mean, obviously I put it on the receivers. I mean, I put that on Hardman. I mean, he should have been better this year. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think the Chiefs will even say that they wish that he'd been better this year. If you want to look at the glass half full, I mean, I do go back to an interesting thing that Tyrann Mathieu said to us last year at the 101 Awards. And he was asked a specific question, hey, what kind of a leap do you think Nicole Hardman's going to make in year 2? And the reason why he was asked that is because Nicole Hardman was at the 101 Awards too, as the Rookie of the Year for the Chiefs, for Mackley Hill Award winner. And he's like, to me, year 3 is where you make the jump. And because that's where, Tyrann Mathieu felt like he got the jump, that at that point, you really are starting to get it. Sure, some guys do make the jump from year 1 to year 2. But there's a lot of guys that still need that one more year to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe Nicole Hardman fits into that category, and this is the year. But at the same time, I go back to circle around to what we said earlier. I think that only happens if he says, you know what, 2020 wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I didn't get the ball. I got to get better. If that happens, then, I think there's some good things that could happen for the Chiefs. But I think that, overall, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where Brett Veach is not going to make sure that Patrick Mahomes has weapons. Because as much as they want to protect him, and I think you're going to see them putting some moves into the offensive line this year to try and bulk that up and get more of a pass protection angle, he is never going to be afraid to spend cap money or draft picks on trying to get him targets.
Yep. I think that at this point is undeniable, and I hope that stays true because it's funny to kind of talk about it in those terms whenever he has the best receiver, the best tight end in the sport, and a top 5 wide receiver, but you just don't want him to have that Aaron Rodgers pocket of his career where he's got 3 or 4 years where you just don't really know who he's throwing to, and you find yourself wasting part of his prime. So I hope that trend continues. There are a billion things we'll continue to talk to you about over the course of the offseason because this show can only talk so much collective college basketball and baseball without losing my mind. And I went from the show to me personally because Beards could talk NBA for the rest of his life and Rudy could talk about baseball. But I need these Chiefs conversations. So we will continue to talk to you throughout the offseason, Matt. Thank you as always for making the time and for giving us visual evidence of Izzy's continued 3-dimensional shape.
I will be always glad there to share any Izzy stories, Star Wars memorabilia. My experience is with 1980s pop stars because I've got more where that Taylor Dayne thing came from.
I don't want to ask for clarification. I will forget because I have the goldfish memory. But whenever we do this again next week, please, just bring a different encounter with an 80s pop star story to the table, and we will give it all the time it deserves, which might mean the entire segment some weeks.
I will do my best.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. If you want to get some feel good from the Chiefs section of your brain, if you haven't gotten that last yet, nice to have that as a. I have bought a handful of books recently that I have just gone straight to my shelf behind me because I like having them, even though I'm gonna listen to the audiobook or whatever. I've done that multiple times.
That. That's okay.
And I can't think of a better use of your. Of your book buying or even your shelf space. We all got Zoom backgrounds now that have become more and more important. Having At Last back there, Matt Derrick, a little decoration on the back of your shelf, you can read it or not. Matt makes money either way. I don't know how much per book or whatever. If you want to just Venmo Matt $10, I'll tell you what.
If you really want to support Matt, buy the book and Venmo him $10.
I'm going to say if you just Venmo Matt $10, I bet he'll send you the unreleased PDF.
Still buy the book though.
Ran it back.
It looks good for the publishers, and that's what allows him to. The more books to sell allow him to write more books.
Buy At Last, and then DM Matt and say I'll Venmo you $15 if you send me the unreleased PDF.
$10 seems like enough.
It's 15 too much. They didn't win the Super Bowl. I'll take. 10 is fine.
They lost the Super Bowl.
The least you could do is follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC Barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Add a stylish look to your bathroom and save big money during Menards' Race to Savings sale. Max has more than 1,000 bathtubs, shower kits, and shower doors to add luxury to your life. U-Tile showers give you the realistic look and feel of tile and installs in half the time. Right now, the Halo shower is $1,879.99. Save big money now during Menards' Race to Savings sale. Prices are good through February 20th.
Save big money at Menards.
You can help City Union Mission bring hope and restoration to our neighbors in need when you give to our Celebrate Hope campaign. Your donation will provide food, shelter, clothing, life recovery, work, readiness, and so much more in the year ahead. The campaign is underway now with the goal of raising $6 million by January 31st. Please make a gift today at cityunionmission.org and help Kansas City's poor and homeless celebrate hope. That's cityunionmission.org. Thank you.
Hey, Kansas City, Soren Petro here. With riding season coming up quick, this is the perfect time for you to talk with my guys at Worth Harley-Davidson. They have a pair of options to help you buy that new Harley of your dreams. Choose 0% interest for up to 72 months, or choose full retail book value for your trade. The experts at Worth Harley-Davidson will show you both options, so you can decide what is best. Shop the inventory online, then come in to make your choice. 0% or retail value for your trade. Worth Harley-Davidson, I-29, just south of the airport. Not all buyers qualify. See dealer for details.
Hey guys, looking for a new rewarding career? Check out the Operating Engineers Local 101 Apprentice Program. In addition to paid on-the-job training with union construction companies, you'll learn to operate all types of heavy equipment, including cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, graders, scrapers, trenchers, loaders, compactors, pavers, asphalt and concrete plants, drilling and boring machines, and other specialized construction machinery. You'll receive great benefits and a pension plan as well. Call today 816-640-2336. That's 816-640-2336. Do you purchase products for the food service industry? Then get Regal. Healthcare, get Regal. Hospitality, get Regal. Go to getregal.com. Regal Distributing is a local Kansas City company in the food service and janitorial industry for over 60 years. Regal Distributing saves your business time and money by providing customers with the right product. The time is now to buy from a company that will service the heck out of you. Buy local, buy smart, and buy from a trusted company that has been helping their customers grow for decades. Visit getregal.com and get Regal today.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Sorry, I got distracted because I have the Facebook comments open now, so they come in live. It's distracting. Renee says that her dog keeps pawing at her phone. She's either loving the show or trying to make it stop.
With Joshua Brisco.
Listen, if you're listening to the show with your dog, please let us know how your dog is enjoying or hating the show.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Series of things. Beard says he has a topic, and there's a Facebook comment that I have to imagine is from my mom because it references Chloe on a first-name basis.
It's not your mom, weirdly enough.
Is it really not? It'd be pretty weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's your mom.
Comment says, Chloe is wondering, why do they all look sunburnt? It must be really cold there. Is this a very red-faced show? Is this a Facebook lighting thing?
It's probably, my guess is...
Because it's not that cold in here. It's really cold out. If you're outside for 30 minutes...
It's pretty cold in
You're
here.
going to come in with rosy cheeks. Right now in here, the thermostat here says 60.
I'm shivering a little
degrees. I feel
but
comfy
I'm a cold
in here.
boy.
I'm good.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little cold.
But we're not dealing with like frostbite. We don't have Tom Coughlin face right now. But I don't know. Maybe
I think it's partly a lighting / camera thing.
Probably.
Turns
That
out
would be my
that
guess.
Chloe doesn't like the new blush I've been wearing. Thanks, Chloe. You could have just said that. Jerk. Thanks again to Matt Derrick. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Check out ChiefsDigest.com and you can go look at it. You go check out Last if you haven't gotten it already. I've got a wide receiver follow-up thing, but I want to know what Beards' topic is.
I was looking at Twitter during the break. I had TweetDeck open.
Mistake number 1.
Not too bad.
What was mistake number 2?
And I saw in the activity section somebody had liked a tweet or whatever, so I pulled it up.
All right, so just to catch up so far, you opened TweetDeck and someone had tweeted.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to put it up on the video feed here.
Okay.
The NFL.
I just shocked myself with my phone charger.
The NFL's Twitter account put out the top 100 to 75 plays of the season in video form.
Okay.
Number 100 is Patrick Mahomes' pass in the Super Bowl where he was parallel to the ground and was an incompletion. And because I hate myself, I checked the comment section.
Yeah.
And it is about what you'd expect it to be.
I don't know what that means. What is it?
A lot of people going, oh my God, it's an incomplete pass. Y'all suck. Why is this the number 1 play? And then a bunch of other people going, oh my God, did you see that play? Of course it's going to be at least in the top 100. It's crazy that it wasn't. It's amazing. So, yeah, it was the whole thing.
Here's the thing about that play. I don't think this is going to be this is me, and then do we have a gavel sound somewhere in there?
Oh, I know we do somewhere.
See if it made it over to the new system. Here's what I'm going to say. If you get to by the time I get to the end of this, great. I'll make the sound some other way if I have to. If that ball sticks in Darrell Williams' face mask, or if he just catches it, and it wasn't an easy catch, but it hit him in the face mask. He was probably preparing for a possible ricochet, whatever. But it hit the target that Mahomes was throwing for perfectly. If he catches that pass, even in a blowout loss in a Super Bowl, that would not have changed the outcome of the game. It was too late in the game. If he catches that pass, it's got to be like, it's top 20 at least.
Probably top 10.
And it might be top 10, even in the losing blowout effort in the Super Bowl.
It was an unbelievable. It's one of the best throws, if not the best throw I've ever seen a quarterback make.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So if you want that play to not be brought up in the best plays of the season, it absolutely deserved to be. It's just because it didn't end with a catch. Which whenever you're doing something is... No, thank you.
Should have been like 50 in my opinion.
Those were in your folder. They weren't in the system.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There we go. If you want to, if you're going to do something as arbitrary as play rankings, I'm not even saying it should have been top 20 as is. He didn't catch it.
Make it 50.
If you want to say top 100 throws of the year,
make it 50.
It's top 10. Top 100 plays of the year, Darryl didn't catch it. That's my verdict. It's not a very high quality MP3. It's a little fuzzy.
No, it's not.
There's not a lot of high quality things about this show. So
that's fair. No, I'm not saying it doesn't fit.
I would say it fits in perfectly.
I'm not saying to find a better one, Beards. I'm saying that's really on the nose.
I was going to see if I could play around and fix the settings, but,
No,
yeah.
I couldn't.
What did you think about what you did to center field last week?
I don't know if we need you messing with stuff anymore.
The idea that you're trying to make
I don't
the
need the
production
gavel
value.
to sound like a bunch of chipmunks.
It sounds like somebody twanging a guitar or something.
What it sounds like is an old 1993 8-bit video game with some that's a Goomba there coming after Mario.
All right, let's hold
That's
on.
what that is.
Let me do this the
I
other
think
way
that
now.
one that one's either
that is a Koopa in a shell. Maybe a goat. Maybe it's Boo the ghost.
That's either a 16-bit audio file in a 16-bit video game, or it's the world's first worst banjo being strummed. You got to wait for the pause, Beards. No one heard it.
That one's a little better. A little better.
It still stinks. It doesn't sound good.
Oh no, I mean it's not.
The original version sounds most like a gavel.
Let's see here.
Can we continue just doing the show around you, or do you want us to stop and wait for whatever chipmunk bull bleep you come up with? Ha! Now tell me about that. That one is interesting.
It is interesting because it's the dynamics of the three different sounds. Like it's interesting.
That's the cutting power effect.
That's what happened to Kansas City today.
I just got shocked in the ear. Listen, if we don't have enough
I've
electricity,
had that happen.
If we don't have enough electricity in the city right now, Evergy should get out here and just plug into the headphone jack. That sounds like a door.
Somebody's outside
being hastily knocked on.
Don't let them in. It's too cold.
The powering down one sounds like a robo judge just trying to pass a verdict, but the rolling blackout just hit the courthouse. That's the worst so far.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give him my wide receiver take, or
Yeah,
are you just
no,
gonna
go ahead.
hum
Yeah,
into
you go ahead. Do
You
your thing.
can't listen, Beards. You can't just. You know what I was thinking as I was walking? I ran to the bathroom during the commercial break, and I had a few seconds to get out. You know what I was thinking when I was in the bathroom? I was thinking, I feel like it took us a little bit because we didn't have Beards for a while, just me and Rudy. And then we had, I had to do a handful of shows from home, waiting for COVID tests and all that stuff. And then
Beards
the Super
took
Bowl,
another vacation in the middle of this, which was weird.
which was crazy. Beards had his COVID issue, waiting on results and whatnot. And we've just had, and then it was Super Bowl football stuff. So it's very just like, here's the things, here's the Chiefs talk. But I was thinking, you know what? A month and a half kind of back in the saddle, more or less, I feel like we've kind of hit our stride again. I'm feeling pretty good about the show's going. And then and my second thought was, all right, I'm going to talk about the Chiefs receivers whenever I sit back down. And then Beards is chipmunking a gavel sound effect.
pretty sure that sound effect's from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game that I had on the NES.
That's not in the Nintendo Online Switch store, is it?
Actually, I think one of them is now.
Would lose.
And I guess it's not NES; it'd be the Super Nintendo. I feel like one of them actually is. Beers, go get the door.
Interesting.
Why was that one outside?
I put the underwater sound effect on that one, and it turned into a door knocking.
Beards, there's somebody at the door.
Wow,
really weird.
That's good to know.
Hey, Beards, we're doing a radio show. Can you go get that?
Hey, man, we're busy.
Yeah, we can't leave, Beards. I need you to go get that.
If there is any old school Ninja Turtles game on the Switch emulator, I gotta go now.
I feel like I saw that there was.
You guys can do power rankings without me. That's fine.
I'm on the page right now, so I'm looking at it. I just could have sworn.
Why can't you just do that in pockets, Beers? Why does every single one have to hit the airwaves?
Not everyone. Well, I am not previewing these beforehand. They're just I apply the effect and go.
Right. It's just been a lot, and so my effort to talk about Sammy Watkins coming back, as Matt Derrick newsworthily predicted last segment, has just sort of been derailed.
What's a flanger? Sci-fi 60s.
All right, Beards, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do, Beards. You get to pick one more effect.
Uh-oh.
You get to pick one more effect.
Uh-huh.
I am going to, as the judge, declare this segment over, and you can ring it out in whatever way you see fit, and then we're going to break, and then I'm coming in there and I'm deleting that file from my folder completely.
Okay, hold on.
Pick your final effect.
High school movies.
What?
Yeah.
What's the effect called?
High school movies.
I don't know
what this will do.
Me neither. I mercifully declare this segment over with no chance for parole. That sounded like a gavel.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
You've probably heard Tom Shane on the radio for years, but have you actually experienced a visit to Shane Company? If you're planning to pop the question, we're the destination for you. You just gotta go to the store, or you can go online to create an engagement ring that fits your budget and reflects her personal style. We're talking a massive selection of always natural, always ethically sourced diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, plus a huge assortment of ring settings in every price range. Our team of jewelry consultants will help you find exactly what you're looking for, and you can expect zero pressure because they're all non-commissioned. When you're done collaborating, her engagement ring will look spectacular, like nobody else's ring. She'll get all the compliments, you'll get all the credit. And get this, with their warranty, if anything happens to the ring, they've got you covered for life, for free. Do yourself a favor and get your engagement ring your way, only at Shane Company.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, how about a new career that is economic and pandemic-proof? How about the chance to get paid to learn a trade? Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric has a career for you. Reach out to them today at anthonyphce.com/careers or call 913-268-4669 and see how you can get a paycheck while you learn. Again, 913-268-4669. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. I just want to thank everybody for supporting local restaurants during this time of uncertainty. 23rd Street Brewery is now open until this pandemic is over. And right now, more than anything, local restaurants need your help and support. Come on out and see us. 23rd Street Brewery is open now from 11:30 till 9 o'clock for dine-in and carry-out. Whatever we can do to help you out, maybe with your catering needs, too. I appreciate all the support, and thank you for continuing to shop local.
In honor of President's Day, Dell delivers savings to help America's small businesses get more done. Office Anywhere, with up to 50% off high-performance laptops, desktops, and servers with Intel Core processors and top-brand electronics. Plus, refresh now with flexible financing options. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/President's Day.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
If this show was decent all the time, it'd be a better show.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I still can't believe this isn't a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. Every time I'm like, oh no, Beards, this has to be copyright, right? No? Did we decide it was Red Hot Chili Peppers as long as hey, hey, hey? Or is it something else?
I don't remember. That was a while ago.
It was like a week ago.
The song that goes "Hey Hey Hey" is Vampire Weekend.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
because it's in there somewhere.
Oh, what? Oh, now it's A-Punk. That's what it is. It's A-Punk.
Yep, that's right.
A-Punk by Vampire Weekend. That's what this song is.
Do you know Katy Perry has a song called "Hey Hey Hey"?
I do now.
No.
I do now.
I feel like I've missed some Katy Perry releases as of late. Just, I don't know, I mean, she's doing the Pokemon album.
She's gonna have Pokemon songs dropping before too long.
I wanted to.
Coming up, I think it's not. Let me pull up.
Did we not talk about this on the show last week? I know what you're going to talk about here.
Yeah, next Saturday is Pokemon Day, so that's when we're going to get like all the announcements.
We're getting a Post Malone virtual concert.
Yes.
I'm very excited about. I thought we may have mentioned that on Friday, but maybe not.
We mentioned it.
But yeah, so next Saturday though is the actual anniversary.
Okay.
So that's when essentially all the news will be released, and we'll kind of know like what is happening throughout the course of the year and what the dates are. So in theory, we will have a Post Malone virtual concert date, and maybe a new game.
And it'll probably be music and like. Some plushies.
You know what we need? We need a Pokemon rhythm game. Just to Post Malone music. That's what's coming.
But it's in VR. It's like what's the Saber game called?
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber. It's like Beat Saber, but it's with Pokemon. And you're just throwing Pokeballs and then catching them.
Yes, I like that. You're just throwing Pokeballs at Pokemon and dodging Team Rocket.
That sounds great.
It sounds like a good game to me.
Great. That game is intellectual property of Almost Entirely Sports. Rudy Salazar, I guess, technically put it out there first.
TM.
But Rudy, Beards, you didn't.
Use an HM. They're better.
What's an H? Oh,
Beards, you get no money. You're out of this project.
Don't hate my joke. It was a good joke.
You need to shame yourself.
No, I'm not shaming that.
I don't care how many you have. There is no way to revive this segment. It's toast. This segment is over, dude. There's no way you can max revive nothing. You can go into some of our ads and you can get yourself a PP up. It doesn't matter.
The soul right out of us.
It's funny to everyone forever whenever you get given a PP up in a Pokemon game, right? Like, that never stops being funny for anybody else. Because it's been funny. That's what I'm saying. You go into our ads, you get yourself a little PP up.
We have ads for that.
Yeah. You can go to, I don't want to accidentally give extra ads.
The radio business was built around the PP up.
It really was, yes. Empire of Droopy Wee-Wees, as I believe I once called it.
Oh, there's a liner for that.
There certainly is.
Yep.
I didn't have to dig through the system to find that one. That one's existed for a while.
There's also a max PP up, I believe. That's if the PP up doesn't work. Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day. Playing Pokemon. What? What did you think I meant?
Hope everybody used their PP up. Couple times if you have more than one.
How long were you playing?
More than 4 hours, obviously.
And you thought my joke was bad.
It was. It was.
It was,
I
Beards.
told you there was no reviving this segment. Look,
It
now look where
was.
we're at. Now look at us. It's terrible. We're going to spend the last minute and a half or whatever of this segment, 2 minutes of this segment,
God.
desperately
Can you add a minute of
flailing around.
promos, Beards? Please.
desperately flailing around looking for Pokemon puns instead of me giving you my Sammy Watkins take, which is that we all need to be prepared for Sammy Watkins to be back next year. Because and here's the thing: does it make sense for some other team to give Sammy Watkins more money than the Chiefs?
No,
not really. Where does he have the best chance to make an impact? Probably on the offense that he already knows.
Probably.
Like, it's not like he's going to be less healthy or more healthy if he leaves Kansas City. And if it's at a decent value, that's fine. But I think everyone is. I imagine that most Chiefs fans are kind of burnt out on Sammy Watkins.
And it really has something to do with his actual talent. It's just the injuries.
It's
more
just
than
the
anything.
injuries.
If you got even just 14 games from him, I think we'd be thrilled, right?
Who had the most iconic run in the playoffs? It was either him or Damian Williams.
Yeah.
Like
playoff Sammy.
That was a legitimate thing.
Playoff Sammy and playoff Damian.
I tried, but this segment has still been absolutely ghastly.
It's gonna haunt your dreams.
Stupid. This segment sucks. Go ahead, Vance. You got one?
No, I don't have one.
Wow, really? Nothing?
No. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Really getting guard that up.
That's nothing,
Nope.
Rudy. That's nothing. This segment has been gasping for air. I'm wheezing.
You're just coughing. Taking so long.
The idea of this segment ever getting good was always extremely far-fetched. And I quit. That's it. That was the last one. Power rankings next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rock your home with new tops from Kansas City's best countertop fabricator, Rock Tops. They custom fabricate and install stone surfaces that will make you fall in love with your home. Making homes look incredible is Rock Tops' thing. Being nice just comes naturally. Rock Tops offers carry-out samples and virtual or in-home appointments. Call 913-782-0802 or go to rocktopskc.com. Mention 810-ROCKS to receive 10% off right now.
Men, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease? Has Viagra stopped working? Most ED cases are caused by plaque buildup, which causes blockages and restricts blood flow. Even Viagra can't get through. But thanks to the doctors at West Coast Men's Health, a revolutionary medical procedure is now available. Using acoustic wave therapy, this non-invasive, pain-free treatment breaks down plaque, restores blood flow, potentially reversing ED for good. And women, if your man has ED, talk to him about acoustic wave therapy and how West Coast Men's Health can help, regardless of age or medical history. Call 913-243-3200 to schedule an evaluation. Be one of the first 10 callers and qualify for the special $99 consult fee, normally $199. That's 913-243-3200 or online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
At Central Bank of the Midwest, we are focused on building strong communities across Kansas City. I'm Bill Ferguson, President and CEO. Our strong roots began more than 100 years ago in the heart of the Midwest and continue today across 5 states and 67 communities. Central Bank of the Midwest brings you the best of both worlds, a strong community bank with the resources and technology to deliver a legendary banking experience. Central Bank of the Midwest. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Number 1 all day, every day. Kansas City's hometown radio station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810. WHB, Kansas City.
I'm Chad Ryder on the NBA scoreboard. Bradley Beal continues to play well for Washington since his return.
Beal, top of the key, jumper, good. Bradley Beal scores 121-105 as he adds his account 37 points.
Call on Federal News Radio, and Bradley Beal would finish with a game-high 37. Wizards defeat the Rockets 131-119. Houston's 6th straight loss. Russell Westbrook with his 6th triple-double of the season for Washington against his former team. And John Wall, 29 points, 11 assists in the loss for Houston against his former team. Overtime at Indiana, the Bulls beat the Pacers 120-112. Zach LaVine, 30 points, 9 rebounds for Chicago. Closing seconds in New York of the fourth quarter, the Knicks lead the Hawks 123-112. Julius Randle, 42 points for New York. 76ers and Jazz tied at 59, second quarter in Salt Lake. Utah going for an 8th straight. Joel Embiid, a late scratch for Philly with that lingering back issue. The MRI showed today that Lakers star Anthony Davis will be out 2 to 3 weeks with a strained calf and tendonitis in his right Achilles, reports ESPN's Adrian Warjanowski. Former Chargers and Buccaneers wide receiver Vincent Jackson was found dead this morning at a Florida hotel room. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of the 38-year-old, said there were no apparent signs of trauma. Jackson was a 3-time Pro Bowler over 12 seasons. College football, UCF has hired former Auburn coach Gus Malzahn as the new head coach of the Knights.
We're back on Tuesday with the latest on the Anthony Davis Achilles injury. Plus, it's the battle of the best in the West versus the beast in the East as the hottest team in the NBA, the Utah Jazz, host the Philadelphia 76ers. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
If you thought that segment was bad, wait for the next one.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Matt Derrick, who joined us last hour, has tweeted out a picture of Izzy because Keith had tweeted asking to make sure that get like an extra sort of proof that this is a picture of Izzy from today because we always feared that Izzy was squished many moons ago. Matt has now tweeted out the picture of Izzy next to the beginning of a chapter of a book that doesn't exist. Hashtag anything is possible is on the page. It is. I'm gonna see if I can get. I'm gonna frame this photo because it is outrageously good.
I thought it was over the Chiefs Super Bowl loss, which also, by the way, like what was wild to me, I realized yesterday. If you had told me yesterday how long ago was the Super Bowl, I would have said like 3 weeks.
It was 6 years ago.
It feels like it was forever. Last week was the longest week, I think, of this whole pandemic world, which is crazy to think about because there have been some really long weeks.
That's true. I'm going to print this picture of Izzy and Matt's Anything is Possible chapter off, and I'm going to hang it in our office down the hall.
Wall faces?
No, I think it's going to go over into kind of my little corner of with that Mellinger tweet and that picture of Alex Smith.
Possible.
I think that's where it's going to go. We can talk about.
You know what else though I see?
No, go ahead.
I can see his tweet deck.
Oh wow!
And you can't tell what any of the tweets say, but you know what video I see?
Oh, I do see it.
I see a video of our feed.
I certainly see it. Almost Entirely Sports.
Yeah,
it's up there. I also see the picture that he tweeted of himself and Izzy. Great pictures and a segment that was worth your time. If you want to check it out. It'll be on the podcast feed sometime later on tonight. But we can't wait too long because as the phones have indicated to me in the name section, Lil Chief Boy is how Beards McFly has put in the name of our next guest.
Y or I?
Oh, I.
Okay,
I, B-O-I. Yeah. No, Beards is cultured.
I was a little worried, to be honest.
No.
I was a little worried, to be honest.
No, Lil Chief Boy.
Okay, good job, Beards.
I feel like I enunciate different whenever it's B-O-I.
You do, but I feel like you enunciate it the right way.
Tucker D. Franklin of Arrowhead Report. Well, now it says Little Chief Boy, B-O-Y. Change it back.
Beards,
Change it back.
I gave you a compliment.
Beards, change it back.
What are you doing, Beards?
I think it could even be Lil. I think it should be Lil Chief Boy, B-O-I.
It was, and then I changed it to Little.
Okay, can I introduce Tucker?
Yeah, we're good now.
Hi, Tucker.
Tucker D. Franklin of Arrowhead Report. You can follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. Check out a bunch of his work up on Arrowhead Report. Also, of course, the host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. It is fully an NFL draft podcast at this point. Lots of great stuff from him, Jordan Foote, and the other rotating cast of characters across Roughing the Kicker. Tucker, how have you enjoyed this post-Super Bowl week?
Well, I do the best thing possible, which is bottling all of my emotions and shoving them down way deep inside by talking about the NFL draft. So that's what I've been doing. I think I try not to really think about the Super Bowl. And I think the last time I thought about the Super Bowl was when we had our podcast on Friday.
Yeah.
Which, if you missed that conversation, you can go find it on the Roughing the Kicker podcast feed, wherever you find your podcast.
Boom.
Josh and I had about an hour of conversation about the Super Bowl, kind of rehashing those feelings and everything. Which is a healthy thing to do, I guess, instead of just bottling everything up. I don't know about that.
I don't listen, man. You said you've been bottling up your feelings for the last week. I've been bottling up my feelings since freshman year of high school, so I feel like you've got some ground to make up still.
I've been bottling up my feelings since I was 5, so.
Checkmate. Rudy wins.
I win this contest.
Congratulations, Rudy. But yeah, it's true. I was on Friday's episode of Roughing the Kicker, and it was a fun conversation. It was a good time. As RTK always is. So you can check that out wherever you get your podcasts and get Tucker over there. What is I do want to get like a serious, very early draft vibe check. To mention, we talked to Matt earlier. He thinks that there is about a 75% chance that Sammy Watkins is back on this team next year. Thinks it's about 50-50, a little better than 50-50 that Demarcus Robinson is back. Didn't think it was terribly likely that the Chiefs use a high draft pick or a bunch of free agent money on a wide receiver. How does that general sort of assessment from Matt Derrick make you feel at this point?
Well, Matt obviously knows a whole lot more than I do, and I'm comfortable with agreeing with him in that sense. And it honestly makes me feel a little bit better that he thinks that too. Because if you look at the market for Sammy Watkins, it's not there.
Yeah.
And the market value, I think the according to Spot Track, was like $10 million, and I don't think anybody's going to pay that much for Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Especially with his recent performance in the playoffs. I think the Chiefs are really going to use their higher round draft picks and offensive linemen. And this is a good class to need an offensive lineman. It's a good class also to need an edge rusher, which is another way that they could go with their first pick and first and second round picks. Which will be interesting. I don't think the receiver comes until the later rounds. Jordan Foote and I have always talked about top 100 winning a wide receiver, but it seems like there's more pressing issues at the moment than trying to find another wide receiver. And really, they can get a good wide receiver in round 6 or 7. There's a few guys there when you were looking at these later rounds that could be pretty salty, just like their makeup-wise, their frame, and how they've been used in college, with how they can fit into this Chiefs offense. And I really like a few of those guys down in the later rounds. And you'll have to listen to tomorrow's podcast. Jordan and I are actually doing Mock Draft 2.0 on our Wednesday episode. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
How many mock drafts do you think you guys are going to do by the time the draft actually gets here? Serious question.
Yeah, no, at least 12. We want to do one a week. So that's the plan, is 12.
12 doesn't seem as insane as I thought it might end up at. I feel like once you get to like 20, you have to start really kind of asking yourself some questions. But 12 feels good. One every week feels good. And honestly, we're at the very, very beginning of kind of draft season. So if you want more of that, again, that's the focus of Roughing the Kicker from this point forward throughout the offseason. Obviously, any free agency stuff happens. I'm sure I'll hop back on again before too long because I got some sort of free agent thoughts that we'll get to, obviously, over the show, probably this week. We got a lot of time to talk about a lot of things. Most importantly, what we don't have a whole lot of time in the future to talk about is the fact that today is President's Day. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. It is negative 97 degrees outside, I'm pretty sure. What do those things all have in common, friends? That we're going to do power rankings of them. I don't know why anyone else would know that, but the four of us know that. And so we're going to do power rankings with Tucker D. Franklin right now. Here's what we have on the board at this point in the spirit of President's Day today, Valentine's Day yesterday, and the sort of circumstances that we're all living through at the moment. We've got 3 categories for the 4 of us. We have top 5 cold weather activities, top 5 romantic comedies, and top 5 presidents, solely ranking them based on their names. Which is a really important part of that category that I hope everyone understood. Because it's just really important.
And their political beliefs, though, obviously.
Yes, and then we also have top 5 presidents ranked by their political ideologies, top 5 presidents based on their most heinous acts, and top 5 presidents by wars started under their regime.
Beards just ran out of the office for some reason. That was weird.
I actually just Beards. Listen, as much as Beards is afraid of getting in trouble around anything political, Beards also was almost like a history teacher, so we might have gotten a little something out of him there.
True. God, could you imagine Beards teaching kids?
That's why I didn't do it.
Let's. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start here? I feel pretty equally good about all 3 of these. I don't know what feels like the game changer to close us out. What do you want to save for last?
Cold weather is my least favorite of these.
Same.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's open with that, and let's eat our veggies. I suppose I was thinking about saving those till last. So I'm glad that we went the way we did. In fact, let's go. Beards number 5. Cold weather activity. Is this music a little loud to anybody?
No.
Just a smidge.
Tucker, is this music? Can you hear us? Okay.
It's a little loud.
Just a little loud, Beards. Pretty unanimous. Top 5 reasons that this music might be a little loud. Beards, number 5, cold weather activity.
Number 5, this is going to be a little controversial.
Wow.
This is weather dependent also.
It's, well, what?
I'll explain why.
The category...
It's cold weather, Beards.
I'll explain why. Cleaning off your car. If it's too...
Wait, why would you like doing this?
So for me...
controversial.
So for me, sometimes, like if I know I'm going to be out there for a while, I'll just put on my headphones. I'll make sure I'm warm. I'm listening to music, listen to a podcast or something. I like just very nice cleaning off your car. It's easy. If it's too cold, like now though, I'm like, get me out of here. I'm just trying to get it done as fast as I can. So that's why it's number 5. I enjoy it when it's like in the low 30s, maybe a little bit in the 20s.
20s and stuff.
That's fine.
Is this
past 15 though? I just want to get done as fast as can.
I've truly never hated an answer more than I hate that answer in my life.
I'm dipping my toe in the water on this one, Beards.
Okay.
If it's a layer of ice, this is a bad take. If it's the fresh powder that we've had on our cars the last couple of days, you know what I did twice in these last 2 days? I have gone outside with a big push broom, and I have push broomed off my car and Renee's car.
But why do you like doing
It's kind of satisfying.
Yeah,
So,
that's all.
It's kind of satisfying to clean off a car with a push broom.
I like driving and watching it kind of like fly off.
Sure.
I do find that satisfying.
That is fun. But
Everybody's
I'm
got
trying
it.
to be safe here.
There is an oddly satisfying thing to brushing fresh
yeah,
snow off.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
That's why it's number 5.
I don't hate it as much anymore.
Tucker, what is your number 5 cold weather activity?
Power ranking things on the radio. That is a good little hobby of mine I like to do when it's cold outside.
Is Tucker a little quiet to anybody else?
He's a little quiet.
Can Tucker be a little louder?
I fixed it.
Rudy, what is your number 5 cold weather activity?
Finding a way to stay warm.
Very vague, but okay.
Trying to find a way to stay warm.
So it's not even finding ways to stay warm or staying warm. It's the act of trying to find those.
Because it's not always easy. Because I've just noticed in my life I'm frequently surrounded by people who like it cold. And if it was up to me, my house, like, it would be 80 degrees at all times.
Number 5 for me is opening the door for like 2 seconds. Really following Rudy's sort of deal very closely there. I like to be reminded of what it is that I'm toasting back up from. If it's just, let the dog out, you get a little whiff of cold air that whooshes into the house. It's nice for like a second, and then you go back in and you get toasty again.
You're all crazy.
Beards, number 4.
Number 4, watching basketball. When does basketball take place? In the winter. I love basketball.
Finals are during the summer.
Number 4. Oh, that's okay. It starts in the fall and then goes more into the winter. So I'll take it.
If we did top 5
most
summer,
of college basketball is in the winter.
If we did top 5 spring activities, Beards would have watching basketball at number 4 there also.
Also, yeah.
Top summer activities. Basketball.
Watching basketball replays on NBA and TV.
If it's the Olympics, then I'm even more into it.
You know when the NBA starts? Right at the very end of fall.
Yeah, it does.
Tucker, what is your number 4 cold weather activity?
I like acting like I like to drink a lot of coffee because I do like to drink coffee, but there's sometimes where I like to act like I like to drink a lot of it. So I'll go and I'll drink like two mugs full. I'm like, man, I like to drink a lot of coffee. And then the next day I don't drink any coffee.
Are you Dilbert? What are you? It's so strange. I like this category because it's gotten very strange. Rudy, number 4, cold weather activity.
Laying in bed under the covers.
That's good. That's a good answer. Solid.
By the way, Gary Lezak has just tweeted that it's still snowing. The snow will end before midnight, and then the temperatures begin to crash.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's not already. They haven't crashed yet, apparently.
Yeah, that's like somebody looking at my Fidelity app and being like, "All right, GameStop's dropped a little bit, but it's really gonna crash.
It's really
this
gonna
week."
go tomorrow.
Like, are you kidding me? Number 4 for me, cold weather activity, playing a video game with a controller. This is not gonna work in handheld mode on the Switch. This is not gonna work on PC gaming. But if you can have a controller under the blanket that you're sitting under, that right there, that's a good cold weather activity. Beards, number 3.
Number 3.
That's right.
Yes. This is especially good after number 5, which was brushing off your car. Go inside, take a hot shower, get you warm. It's great.
It's great.
Perfect.
It's a good experience. That almost made my list. Didn't quite, but very close to making it.
Bath is also acceptable.
Huh.
That's weird.
Well, so now here's
haven't taken a bath in a long time.
Yeah.
But it's also an acceptable answer if you like doing that.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing now, and here's why my entire life is over, is that I've just had to envision Beards in a bath. And I just think I'm gonna go walk out into the snow and
The
wait
shower
for it
didn't
to
do it for you?
No, because I don't know. But shower was just like, sure, people shower. Everybody showers.
Yeah.
But then just
bath.
The bath, yeah. Just with a nice, he's got a wine glass with Coke, warm Coke.
Rubber ducky.
It's a rubber ducky wearing like a little basketball jersey with the headband.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bubbles.
A Larry Bird one.
Definitely bubbles just kind of like around the edges of the bath,
yeah.
Would
you say that duck was Larry Bird?
Did you make that joke twice because we didn't acknowledge it the first time?
Absolutely.
Terrible.
Rudy, number where are we?
3.
Number 3.
Are we at number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
Go ahead.
Watching Netflix under the covers. Or
Nothing wrong
playing
with
video
that.
games.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Tucker, number 3. Is it thinking about Beards taking a bath?
Sadly, it is not, but it's using 2 blankets. There's always a good 1 blanket cold, but then once you get to the really cold, like I've been doing the past couple nights, I'm using 2 blankets.
I'm not gonna fully recover as a human being, I'm afraid.
Nope.
Number 3 for me, staring at a screen completely still. This is one above the video games because you can basically fold yourself into a little burrito.
The brain stops.
And just watch something, and you basically are hibernating at that point.
Yep.
You're just watching, you're rewatching Parks and Rec or whatever. Beards, your number 2, cold weather activity.
Number 2, under the covers with a book.
With the book, your hands got to be up, though.
Yeah, you're reading the book.
Your hands are going to be out.
That's okay.
Okay.
Rest of you's warm.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying. Rudy, number 2.
Number 2 would be eating or drinking something warm under the covers.
I'm going to go ahead and skip the line here real quick, Tucker. My number 2, make and drink hot liquid. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's just a good one.
I've seen something warm.
Making it's a nice
toasty.
little thing to do. Maybe you got a little podcast in or something,
Yeah.
and you drink it, warms you from the inside. It's nice. Tucker, what's your number 2 cold weather activity?
I got hanging out by the fireplace. We recently moved into this place that has a fireplace, and I tell you what, that's a nice little treat just to lay down right in front of the fireplace.
Fireplace is clutch.
Yeah,
a house I
sounds
lived in
nice.
college once had a fireplace, and oh boy, that winter was something special.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yep.
Don't have a fireplace. Kind of wish I had one now.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous.
They're so great.
Beards, number 1 cold weather activity.
Number 1, playing video games in a hoodie / pajama bottoms. Bonus points if they're super fuzzy pajamas.
So it's
like
it's
4
slash.
of Beards is 5 things you can just do year round.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's nothing to do with the weather.
Excuse me, both of you guys have video games on your list?
Now, Beards, you did say slash and not plus. Are you only playing video games in either a hoodie or pajama pants?
I'll leave that to the imagination.
I would rather you leave less to my imagination. I would like less imagination in this segment. I've got Beards now getting out of a bath and then Winnie the Poohing while he's playing video games on the couch. This sucks. This is a stupid, bad show, and I hate it. Rudy, number 1.
Taking a scalding hot shower.
Oh, a shower, like
something
not
that burns me.
A shower, like not a pervert.
And then immediately running to the heater and laying in front of the heater underneath the covers.
My number. Go ahead. Sorry, Tucker. What's your number 1 cold weather activity?
Saving power, because apparently that's something we have to do now.
Yeah, yes. Rationing electricity like we live in Mad Max.
I saw the tweet by Mayor Lucas. I appreciate all the things you do.
Sure.
You're great for the city.
Sure.
I saw your tweet about unplugging space heaters, not using them to save power, and I cranked mine up to the maximum heat.
You were trying to just insulate. You're basically trying to hotbox your room.
Yes, my room,
literally.
No joke, is probably... It is approaching 80 degrees now with this heater. I keep it at full heat because it's so warm.
That's too much.
And I love it so much.
This would be bad for the show, but good for our own comfort if Rudy and Beards switch chairs.
Yeah.
Because then you can make that room 85 degrees.
I make that room hot.
And Beards and I can crack this door open.
Yes.
Yeah. My number 1 cold weather activity, lay under every blanket.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'll say this again. Every single human being should own a weighted blanket.
Oh, I need to buy one.
Get a 25-pounder. I think it's pretty much as heavy as they come.
Yeah.
No reason to get a lighter one. Because I've now bought one for Renee. I bought one for Renee first, actually. Sometimes you get the double-weighted blanket. Day's over, but you feel great. It's wonderful. Big fluffy blanket, weighted blanket.
Yeah.
Just lay there and soak into the bed or even the couch. It's great. All right, those are our top 5 cold weather activities. Do you guys want to celebrate President's Day or Valentine's Day first? First person who makes a
I say do President's last.
Okay, let's do top 5 rom-coms. Rudy, you feel very strong. So I want you to go last. You're going to be the anchor on this one. I'll go first. And then, I'll go me, then Tucker, then Beards, then Rudy. Tucker is in this chair over here that's actually just my leather jacket. Good fashion choices today, Tucker.
I love it.
Number 5 rom-com for me, Sleepless in Seattle. I only have 4 movies on this list that I have seen within the last 15 years. I vaguely remember it being on. I think my mom was watching it at some point.
Yeah.
It's got Tom Hanks in it. Seems clever. That's fine. That's all. That's my number 5. Don't take that one too seriously. Tucker, number 5 rom-com.
I've got 50 First Dates. Adam Sandler. That's a good movie.
That's a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
He has like amnesia or something? Or
She does. Yes.
She did.
She keeps forgetting their first dates, and that's why it's 50 First Dates.
I've seen 20 minutes of every rom-com and 4 full rom-coms, I think is where I've ended up. And some of these might be genre stretches. We'll see. Beards, number 5.
Number 5, Bringing Up Baby. It's an old movie from, I think, 1938. It has...
I don't think the rom-com genre was invented yet.
19?
It has Cary Grant and...
Who is...
Katharine Hepburn in it. It's about... I'll read you the description from IMDb.
1938?
While trying to secure a $1 million donation for his museum, a befuddled paleontologist is pursued by a flighty and often irritating heiress and her pet leopard, Baby. It's very funny. It's great.
I'm here for it. That's just crazy that you picked a movie that's almost 100 years old.
It's a very good movie.
Wow, what a pull. Rudy, number 5.
500 Days of Summer. Zoe Deschanel is a treat. I love watching her movies / TV shows. Also, Jordan, what's his name? Levitt, something, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph,
you got there.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
He is also in it. Very good.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds great.
It's very, very good.
I'm just reading about Bringing Up Baby now, but because Baby is a leopard?
Yes, that's correct. That's the name of the leopard.
Number 4 for me, it was on a list of rom-coms, so I'm going to count it. Silver Linings Playbook. It's got Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
It's a solid movie.
I watched it. I'm not sure I would call it a rom-com, but it was pretty good. That's what I'm working with. This genre is just not really mine. I'm not defensive about it. I just haven't seen that many rom-coms. Tucker, number 4.
I've got 10 Cup at number 4. It's a sports movie. It's about golf. I like golf and sports. and it's also about love.
What?
I love me some love.
What was the name?
Tin Cup with
Tin Cup,
Kevin
gotcha.
Costner.
Man, you know, it's one thing. I don't think people fully realize this because I think it gets classified as sports movies. But all of Kevin Costner's movies are also rom-coms. Like they get thrown in the sports categories, but like they're rom-coms.
I kind of don't like Kevin Costner.
You're anti-American.
Oh
Beards.
my gosh.
Beards, what year did your number 4 movie come out in?
Number 4. It's the first hour of Hitch. You don't need the second half. Just the first half. The first half's the good part.
Oh my goodness.
And then just bail?
Yeah.
Okay. Is number 3 Hitchcock?
No.
Because that would be...
No, it is not.
Okay. Rudy,
the second part of that one.
Yeah. And then at the end, it's just Hitchcock. You've watched Hitch and then the second half of the word Hitchcock, and you just have Hitchcock again.
That's something else.
Rudy, number 3. 4? Number 4.
Number 4. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That's a great movie.
I've heard that one is good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I've not seen the film.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's all around good. Mila Kunis is also treat.
Rudy was like excited about this category, so like if you're gonna take anyone's suggestions, take Rudy's on this one because he knows what he's talking
Forgetting
about.
Sarah Marshall is like that's one of those
Excuse
movies
me.
I can rewatch.
Beard so far has picked a
Frequently.
movie from 90 years ago and then half a movie. I don't think you get to be indignant about that, Beard.
If you're listening, do not and if you take Beard's advice, or let me advise to not take Beard's advice because you know what you don't do is watch a movie with your significant other and just halfway through just turn off the TV.
Stop it! That's such a good point.
It's like, yeah, we're done.
That's
Date's over.
such a good
Sorry,
point.
we're done.
Number 3 for me, I'll give a shared shout out to 2 friends of the show, Scott Chasen and Sean Collins, who both put me on to About Time. It is a rom-com in the truest sense that also involves time travel. It's a good movie. I liked it a lot.
I have at the end an honorable mention time travel movie because it's not really a rom-com, but it's close.
Go ahead and just bring it in now.
Okay, Time Traveler's Wife might be the best chick flick, and I'm using it in parentheses because that's what they used to call those movies.
Right.
I can watch The Time Traveler's Wife over and over and over and over and over and over. It's such a good movie. It's such a sad movie too, but it's such a good movie.
Tucker, what is your number 3 rom-com?
10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very good movie. It's a good one. Heath Ledger is a gem of a human being, and he played a very good role in that as well. So
I honestly forgot about that movie, so it's not on my list, but that's an all-time. It's a good one.
Beards number 3.
Number 3, What's Up, Doc? It's actually a remake of Bringing Up Baby. It has Ryan O'Neal and Barbara Streisand and Madeline Kahn. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's really good.
They're just named one
It's very good.
Beard's named 3 people, and I know one of them.
Also, Beards has named 3 movies, and it's really 1.5 movies.
Yeah.
No?
No,
2.5.
no, Beards. It's 1.5 because one movie's a remake. That doesn't count. Okay, you get 2 movies.
There's
you
no
get,
leopard.
You get 2 full ones.
There's no
okay?
leopard. There's no leopard in
You
What's
get
Up,
2
Doc.
full
What's the
movies.
point of the movie?
Oh,
you get
watch it and
you
see.
get 2 full movies.
Is there
I'll
a
give you
big
that.
game cat of some sort?
No.
And then I'm not interested.
I'm not gonna watch it.
There's a giant
good.
car chase through San Francisco, though.
no,
and great comedic use of a giant glass pane.
Yeah, no, I'm just good.
A giant glass
Pane.
like a pane of glass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
okay.
That's not glass.
During the car chase.
I didn't want to get up and hit the window.
You should watch it. It's very good.
I get it. And that's not happening.
Rudy, number 3.
Yeah, number 3, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell is fantastic.
Seems like it'd be good.
It's very funny.
Haven't seen the flick.
So great. So it was his first that movie was actually specifically made for him. You know, he did
Really?
He did the movie with Jim Carrey where he's God, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
And so they really like Steve Carell's part where he is the anchor man or the anchor.
Well, that one's Anchorman.
Not the anchor man, but you know what I mean. Where he plays the TV anchor. They thought it was such a good job that the studio then decided we have to make a movie for this guy. 40-Year-Old Virgin was that movie, and that's when Steve Carell obviously blew up. Was because of this
Interesting.
movie.
Number 2 for me, Groundhog Day. Is it a rom-com?
It is. It was on my list initially. Yes.
Okay,
It is
I'll take it.
absolutely a rom-com.
It's a great movie. It's just great. It's just a wonderful movie that's super weird, and I appreciate that about it. So that's my number 2. Tucker, number 2.
That's just going to make you feel a whole lot better because I had Groundhog Day at number 2 as well.
Let's go!
It's a rom-com.
Whoa, hold on.
Absolutely.
Hold on. We both had Groundhog Day at number 2. What is
Whoa.
this? President's Day? It is President's Day. Beard's number 2.
Number 2.
If it's Groundhog Day, I'm going to lose my mind.
I have to wake up tomorrow and relive this show. God help me.
It's not true. It's not Groundhog Day. Don't worry. It's True Romance. It's a movie that was written by Quentin Tarantino.
Huh.
It has let's see, Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette in it, and a whole bunch of other different people.
But where's
there's no but. It's just a very good movie.
If there's no but, I'm not watching.
I wouldn't call it necessarily the comedy part of the romantic comedy, but it's got some funny moments.
That's the point of a rom-com.
Val Kilmer,
Okay,
Brad
Kilmer's
Pitt,
in the
and
good movie.
Christopher Walken, and Gary Oldman.
What's this movie called?
True Romance.
True Romance.
It's really good. I got it as a blind buy. I was just like, I kind of want to see this movie. I bought it, came home, watched it, and it was very.
It's a romantic crime film, Beards. It's not a rom-com.
You're close enough.
It's not.
That's why it's number 2.
Literally the opposite of a rom-com.
Rudy, number 2.
Number 2 is The Perfect Game with Kevin Costner. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's just a great movie.
The Perfect. Is that
It's,
also a sports movie?
Yes,
then?
it is. So the
don't
movie
know
is
this at all.
essentially, it's him. He's an older pitcher, right? And it's like one of his. It ends up being his. Spoiler alert! Ends up being his final start ever. He throws a perfect game, but as he's throwing the
I've seen
game,
that movie.
there are
It's a good movie.
flashbacks throughout his life with the woman that he loved but who he lost, and yeah,
It's one of the few Kevin Costner movies I like.
it's very good.
This isn't just The Rookie in a different VHS case?
No.
Okay.
It's nothing like the Rookie. Because at this point, Kevin Costner is the established. Again, this is his. He's the old veteran. He's been in the big
I
leagues
see.
for like 20 years, and he's pitching again the best game he's ever had. And as he's pitching it, there are flashbacks to the various points of his life.
It's a good movie.
It's very good. It's a good movie.
Also, I definitely could not tell the difference between Dennis Quaid and Kevin Costner if you put them in front of me right now.
I can't.
If you gave
Can't
me a
argue
list
it.
of Kevin
That's fair.
Costner and Dennis
Yeah, no,
Quaid
that's
movies
fair,
and said, match them to their movie, I might get none of them right. Just by pure luck, I would get 50-50. I don't think I would get any of them.
Here's your best bet with Kevin Costner is just he's done more sports movies. So if you just see a sports
But Dennis
movie,
Quaid did The Rookie.
I think he's only done The Rookie.
Who's
So
in Field of Dreams?
What I'm saying is Kevin Costner. That's my point. Just all with Kevin Costner, just assume it's a sports movie.
Unless it's The Rookie.
And even then, just play
assume
it
it's
safe
Kevin
and just
Costner.
assume it's Kevin Costner. Just don't. You'll get that one wrong, but you get the rest right.
My number 1 ended up being pretty easy. It's the only movie. I guess I've seen Groundhog Day a few times. This is the one I've seen the most, though. It is certainly unique in the field of rom-coms, but I'm going to count it. I think Rudy's list has been very true to the genre. Mine has not been, but my number 1 is Princess Bride. Because it's just a very good
Princess
movie.
Bride is a rom-com.
It's romantic and it's funny.
It's 100% a rom-com.
It's just a good movie. It holds up. Tucker, number 1 rom-com.
I had a tie for number 1, and I felt like an injustice giving one number 2, so I'm going to give 2 for number 1.
Okay.
Because I came up with this idea, and this is my idea. For getting Sarah Marshall at number 1, I think that is all-time good.
It is.
There's a lot of good, funny
So
scenes
good.
in it. And what was my second one? Oh, yeah, Bull Durham. It's another Kevin Costner movie, but it is for sure a rom-com.
Yeah. I told you Kevin Costner is a lot of sports rom-coms, but people don't they either forget or don't realize they're rom-coms because they're viewed as the sports genre, but they're rom-coms. They're all about falling in love and they have funny moments.
Mm-hmm.
Bull Durham's definitely not Dennis Quaid.
Yes, definitely not Dennis Quaid. It's Kevin Costner. Just like I said, just assume sports
That's
movie.
just crazy
Just
to
assume
me.
sports movie, Kevin Costner.
Like, I think I might have gone through the majority of my life just having them be completely interchangeable.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. I can't argue it.
Beards, number 1 rom-com.
Number 1, A Fish Called Wanda. This is one of my favorite movies ever.
Is that technically a rom-com?
Yes. It's
let's see.
Jamie Lee Curtis and John Cleese are in it. She's a thief that steals a whole bunch of diamonds. One of her partners gets put away, though, and he knows where they are.
It's a heist comedy, Beards.
And she's got to convince John Cleese, who's his lawyer, to get the location of the diamonds from him, and she's trying to seduce him, all that stuff. It's amazing. Kevin Kline's in it, and he does one of the best performances, or one of my favorite performances ever. He's amazing in it.
Not a rom-com.
Yes, it is.
It's a heist comedy.
There's
literally a heist
lipstick. There's
comedy.
lipstick on a cheek in one of the promotional images. I'm willing to give it to Beards.
It's a movie that literally caused someone to laugh himself to death. He had cardiac arrest and died.
His name? Beards McFly. Spooky.
It's a heist comedy.
Rudy,
I'm not saying
what
it's not
is?
funny. It's just
I'm giving you the last word on this one, Rudy. What is your number 1 rom-com?
So my number 1 rom-com, and this probably honestly isn't necessarily the best rom-com. It's just my favorite.
Your number 1.
Definitely maybe. I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan. Ryan Reynolds is in it, and
it's not Kevin Costner.
It's not Kevin Costner.
Okay.
No. Ryan Reynolds, superhero guy. I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds stan, and I honestly I just find the movie very good because it's basically him telling the story of his first love to his daughter and how telling his daughter about her mother basically.
That's not that TV show about meeting the mom.
No,
with Kevin Costner.
No.
Who is it? Who stars that show?
Well, so the voice is Bob Saget. I forget the actual actor's name. But
And How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah. I forget the actor.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No, I don't think it's him.
No?
But the guy who I forget
three names.
I forget his name though. So Tucker, you can help me out here. The guy who plays in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he's in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah, I don't know the actor's name.
I always forget. I'm gonna pull it up now.
That's fine. We are running out of time, and we've got this one. The good news is this one is each answer here is 3 words max.
Jason Segel.
Yep, there it is.
He's also in Freaks and Geeks.
That's not a president's name, Rudy.
You don't know that.
It's President's Day, so we are ranking our top 5 U.S. presidents by their name, strictly how their name really hits us. Is it best name, funniest name? I don't know. That's up to the ranker. We all did U.S. presidents, right?
Yes.
It's U.S. President's Day, so okay.
Oh, that's what we were doing?
Rudy and Tucker did not confirm that that's what we were doing, so that's fine.
Well,
you think I can name presidents from other countries?
Mine is I've got King Henry V, King Henry VI, King Henry. They're not.
They weren't presidents.
I know.
They were kings.
I know. And it's not Dennis Quaid. It's Kevin Costner. Blah blah blah. Number 5 for me is William Henry Harrison. It's regal, but his middle name is Henry. I've mentioned the kings and whatnot. William is just an absolute mouthful.
Sure.
Just a good.
It's a good name.
I would feel. I don't know anything about him as a president. Is he the one that died really early on, like a month in office?
This is your strength
That
here,
was
Beards.
Taylor, I think.
How do you not know this?
Just like I know rom-coms and I know that your movies were not rom-coms. You know presidents.
If it makes me laugh, it's a comedy.
He died 31 days into his term.
Which one?
Kevin Costner. Tucker, number 5. Number 5, Tucker.
I had Benedict Cumberbatch. I misinterpreted this whole category, so I put people that I thought sounded like presidents.
That's better. No, that's better. That's so much better.
That's what makes us good, is that we shouldn't be all on the same page. We should be interpreting the categories as we feel like.
Yet you criticize my choice in romantic comedies.
Because the movies you picked were comedies, but they weren't romantic. They were literally the opposite.
I disagree.
Number 5, Beards.
Number 5, Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, it's good.
If you can give a quick reasoning, or we can just move on to the next one. That's totally
I'm not
fine.
giving any reason. I'm just saying the name.
Woodrow,
and
okay,
leaving it there for
it's
you.
a good name.
Leaving
Rudy.
it up to the imagination.
Number 5, Billy Franklin.
Oh, it's cursed.
Some say the greatest president of all time.
Number 4 for me, James A. Garfield. Here's the thing: his presidential portrait, his face should be covered by the famous orange cat, and that image alone makes his name my 4th favorite presidential name.
Very good.
Tucker, number 4.
Marshall Bruce Mathers III.
Ooh, Eminem.
How good does that name sound?
Really good. Really good.
Better or worse than President Eminem?
Pretty much the same. President Benedict Cumberbatch. Both of them are just I think the reason they're probably not higher on the list is just they're almost too good. It's almost too on the nose.
Yeah.
Beards, number 4.
Number 4, Grover Cleveland.
It's a good name. Strong name. Rudy, number 4.
4. Yeah. Will Franklin.
Number 3 for me is George H.W. Bush. You get 2 initials in there?
That's pretty solid.
Are you kidding me? You get 2 initials? Yeah, absolutely.
Only the cool kids got the 2 initials.
Just very cool initials.
I don't got 2 initials.
Tucker, number Number 3.
Vin Diesel. How cool! Imagine going into a meeting with, here's President Diesel. Oh gosh, not trying to pull any funny business there.
I'm president. Hey, just a quick follow-up. If Vin Diesel's number 3, where would Mark Sinclair land? Because that's Vin Diesel's real name. Did you guys know that his real name is Mark Sinclair?
No, I didn't. I'm not surprised, but I didn't.
He does not look like a Mark Sinclair. He looks like a Vin Diesel. That is upsetting. Beard's number 3.
Number 3, Millard Fillmore.
Good name. Just a good name. Just a good presidential name.
Think it's me.
Yeah, no, I know it's you. I didn't lose track this time. I was waiting for you to say, go ahead.
Number 3, William Franklin.
Sure. Number 2, Millard Fillmore. That's a good name. Just a good name for a president. Just seems like a good president name. Tucker, number 2.
I have H. John Benjamin because he's the voice of Bob on Bob's Burgers. But the first initial is really what gets me.
Yeah.
H. John is awesome.
It's great.
I should went by T. Douglas Franklin.
I'm a big fan of H. John.
He's also the voice of Archer.
Yeah.
Sterling Archer.
He is, yes.
Yeah, that's good. I would vote for him as president. No questions asked.
Yeah, he's great.
Beards, what is your number 2?
Number 2?
President name.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Strong.
It's a goodie.
I found out today that his middle name... No, so I think his first name was like Henry or something, because his initials were Hug. But then there was some sort of error that happened somewhere along the military lines where it was listed as Ulysses S. Grant, and he just stuck with it.
Hiram Ulysses Grant.
What is it?
Hiram.
There you go.
Also a good name.
He didn't want his initials to be Hug, so he ended up going by Ulysses S. Grant. How about that? History facts. Rudy, number 2.
Number 2. Did we skip Beards?
No, he just said.
He said Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
The way you explained it, I thought it was you.
I just had a
My
Ulysses S.
bad.
Grant.
Yeah.
Stat.
Number 2, Willie Franklin.
My number 1, Franklin D. Roosevelt, mostly because FDR
It's solid.
different. It's better than JFK, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
FDR
LBJ is really good.
has power.
But FDR just punches you in the
has power.
Teddy Roosevelt is a really good
It's a good
name.
nickname.
But FDR, it's just left hook, right hook, left hook again.
There's power there.
Power in the FDR.
Can I go last?
Tucker, sure.
No, I have to go last.
Tucker, number 1.
I've got Sean P. Diddy Combs. President P. Diddy report. Well, he probably changed his name by that time because he's changed his name so many times. You know, Puff Daddy, Puffy Diddy. You know, all those good names.
He has changed his name a lot.
Yeah, a whole lot. But
I don't
Sean
know what he
Combs,
currently
that's a
goes
strong
by.
name.
I mean, the P in P. Diddy could definitely stand for president.
President
I
Diddy.
think so.
P. Diddy. President P. Diddy.
Well, that's the thing. Would he be President
Which
Diddy
one of
or
you
would
wants
he be
to go
PP
last?
Diddy? All right,
Me?
Beards can go last.
Okay, go ahead, Rudy.
Then
number one president name.
my favorite Franklin, Tucker D. Franklin.
Wow!
Oh.
It's beautiful.
He's the president of Power Rankings. That's my favorite president name.
It's a great point.
And also my
I
favorite
didn't
president
think about that.
policies. Are there some shaky tweets in his past? Sure.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But are there some cringy song lyrics on a Facebook post? You bet.
Absolutely. Do I have a GIF of his him doing Juju Smith-Schuster's TikTok dance?
Yep.
Is that going to bring down his campaign? Absolutely.
You know what?
I'm gonna vote for him when
Still my favorite president.
when that day comes. I'm voting for him.
Still my favorite president name.
Beards, what is your number 1 president name?
And number 1, Tricky Dick Nixon.
I like how he's the one who goes down that road.
I thought about throwing Bill Clinton's nickname in there, but I didn't do that.
The guy who gets nervous anytime you mention anything. He's the one who goes down that road.
You can hear Tucker talk about Chiefs stuff on the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. New episodes every single day. You can also read his work on Arrowhead Report. Follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. The D, of course, stands for Dick. His middle name, Richard. His middle name is Richard. Is that not true? What's your middle name again?
Douglas.
Ah. But
You have a strong name. Tucker Douglas Franklin is a strong name.
Tucker, you could have just gone along with it. You didn't have to be a Douglas about it. Thank you, Tucker.
You're welcome. Hey, before we go, I just want to say happy birthday to all the presidents out there.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Now that football season is over, spring training is right around the corner. Even if it doesn't start on time, you have no excuse not to start your own spring training. You can get yourself back into game shape by spring, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You will be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, or they have a location close by the Lighton Tower right here in Overland Park. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
There are hundreds of Mercedes-Benz dealerships, but only a small number are deemed to be best of the best dealers like Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. To win it once is an honor, but to win it in back-to-back years is a statement of how good that dealership is. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City is that dealership. It's the staff, it's their dedication to being the best they can be for you, their customer, and it's their facility and selection. Come see the back-to-back winner of Best of the Best dealerships. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of State Line on Highway 150 or online at mbofkc.com. That's mbofkc.com.
This is Kevin Harlan. I can call 2 NFL games at the same time, but I only drive one car at a time. And I like the luxury ride and service that I get from my Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Mercedes-Benz, 135th in Madison, or online at mbofkc.com.
Why would I quit my 9-to-5 to start a 9 to who knows when gaming company? Or eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Oh, I gotta get that. How could my favorite tech be an app that helps run my business? No offense, smartphone. None taken. Or fill my garage with enough servers to power a small country? It's because I wanted to make it big in gaming. And QuickBooks suite of tools helped me get there.
Intuit QuickBooks helps small businesses be more successful. Learn more at QuickBooks.com.
Hi, this is Justin Cole, Private Wealth Manager at Creative Planning. Over the last few years, we have grown to one of the largest nationally recognized wealth management firms in the country. While we are proud of our success, we are most proud of our Kansas City roots. We were founded in Kansas City and remain headquartered here because there's no place we'd rather be. We are Kansas City strong. Thank you, Kansas City, and thank you to our clients. If you're not a client, we invite you to reach out for a free, no-obligation financial review. You can find us at creativeplanning.com or by calling 913-338-2727.
Was Valentine's Day a letdown? It's not too late to call the Kansas City Men's Clinic. We've extended our $49 Valentine's Day special through February. Don't let erectile dysfunction stop you from being the man you know you can be. Take action now and call the Kansas City Men's Clinic and receive a private consultation for only $49. Call 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hey investors, have you always wanted to get into the real estate investing game but don't have the money? Crossroads Investment Lending loans money for fix and flips. Locally owned and here to help you fund your real estate project. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com. That's kclend.com. Crossroads Investment Lending has helped hundreds of KC investors make their real estate deals happen. Call 913-766-2900 or go to kclend.com.
Don't let the cold weather keep you from getting your work done outside. At Vanderbilt's, they have all the gear you need to keep you comfortable in the great outdoors. Insulated jackets and bibs from Carhartt and Byrne, neoprene boots from Boggs and Dry Shot, great layering pieces like Brawny and Western flannel, fleece, and sweatshirts, as well as stocking caps, gloves, and insulated socks. Vanderbilt's keeping you warm for the last 45 years, with locations in Lawrence, Topeka, and Wamego.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I have a DM, no context from Michael, just says, Dick, long pause, justice.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thanks again to Tucker Franklin for joining us for the power rankings as he does at this point on a pretty much weekly basis. Usually it's more like an end of week thing, but it felt like today was the day to do it. Did the Valentine's Day stuff, we had the President's Day stuff. Now, Rudy, I do worry that you have some misconceptions about famous founding fathers and the fact that they were or weren't presidents necessarily.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I got 100% on my president's quiz in like 3rd grade.
Was it 100% of them wrong?
No, I mean, that would be a 0% beard.
So let me, I don't, because I really don't want to.
That's how math works.
I don't want to put you on your heels. I don't want to
Yeah.
seem like I'm coming at you like too aggressively or like. So just what number president was Benjamin Franklin? Is what I would ask.
He was president at number 3.
No, he was 100.
There's not 100 president's beards.
Well, but number 3, I'm pretty sure was Thomas Jefferson.
That may be what the history books tell you, but
I also found out today somebody
National
had a
Treasure
long,
told me otherwise.
Somebody had a long thread of of presidential a one tweet fact about every president. And apparently John Quincy Adams his name was just John Adams, but he got the nickname Quincy at some point and it just stuck. The number of our country's presidents that just kind of went pretty fast and loose with their names, like Ulysses S. Grant. Somebody, maybe it was Van Buren.
Van Buren?
I think his nickname was Old Kinderhook. Is that a golf course?
Kinderhook is a golf course. Yes.
Hold on, is that also his name?
I'm looking.
Yeah, today you have to provide like 3 forms of ID and
to vote.
and if you changed your name even the slight had your nickname on the ballot, all votes would probably be deemed as void.
So Martin Van Buren was nicknamed Old Kinderhook.
And Little Van?
I don't know that one. I did not know that one.
I'm on Wikipedia. There's a nickname section for Martin Van Buren.
Yeah, Kinderhook is a golf course in Camdenton, Missouri.
The mistletoe politician.
The reason why you know it is because now that I remember it,
We got ads.
advertised.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
MVP,
Old
as I call him.
Castle.
He went by Old Kinderhook, and he would sign off letters as OK, and it helped popularize calling things OK.
I may or may not have done a remote at Kinderhook.
I didn't know that.
I learned that earlier today.
I learned that today, right now.
Mentioned earlier that what's his name, who died 7 minutes after swearing in?
Not Benjamin
William
Franklin.
Henry Harrison. It's always people always say that like his speech was super duper long and that he died from the flu because he wouldn't wear his coat during that or whatever. You don't get sick from being cold, like a flu or a cold. He got sick after the fact. Well, it was like a virus.
I mean, anytime I get in the cold, I get sick.
Like you can get hypothermia from the cold, but like if you think about it for 2 seconds, why would let's pretend that there was like a virus that was like super well known right now. You standing in the cold doesn't make you more likely to catch COVID on the balcony. But we get like flu season and stuff because people are more indoors, more close together more often, and so apparently that's why transmission goes up.
So you're saying I should stay inside where it's warm because being out in the cold is terrible.
I'm just saying that you're not going to get a cold from being cold.
That's fine. I'd rather get the flu and be warm.
That's, yeah, I believe that to be true. You got to just pick your poison, I guess. I don't know.
I'll pick the flu.
You'll pick the flu and warmth.
Poison doesn't sound fun.
Sounds better than the cold.
Neither does watching a movie from 1928 or whatever.
It's not a romantic comedy.
It's a very good movie. Yes, it is.
Sorry, 38. Much more modern flick. Thanks to Matt, Derrick, and Tucker Franklin for joining us. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 8 to 11 tomorrow. We'll talk to Seth Kaiser. Oh, I have a Pokemon thing.
Oh, yeah, you had a joke.
Yeah, Slowpoke. Bye, Mom.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House excludes